What's up? Cancel culture. Been a little too much cancel culture around here lately. Not that I'm like, leaning on the Republican right-wing side. Alright, Mr. Coffee, let me know what you want to do about tomorrow. Did you get my submission? Arsenal. When did you send it? Was that before or after I banned you? Maybe you got chat banned again. I didn't see. Alright, wait. Arsabate. Why does there have to be so many Arsenal fans? It's ridiculous. Can't even find you. There's like 1 million. The most popular name on the site. But it was today. Yeah, I don't know why. Like, it's there, but I don't get notified. It's okay, I got it here. Sometimes it's hit or miss. Like, sometimes I get notifications, sometimes I don't. It's kind of random. This is the other thing that's happening lately. When I try to do analysis board, there's no games. Why does it do that? Is that a bug? It's a feature, not a bug. Alright, get PGN. I have to do this like manually now. Copy. Tools, analysis board. Then we can paste it over to the study. Paste it. Alright. I got Thomas over the board game, Excel Poker, Schumacher, Move 11 versus Ryson. Hey, it's Miro, and I definitely am missing Mule Skinner, who's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 is arse. Only arse. Only arses. Am I allowed to type that? Or is that blocked? Alright. You usually find the issue in front of the screen. I need a new pillow. My pillow's not comfortable. Alright. Long hours of sitting takes a lot out of me. Alright. Yeah, when you find out one of your friends secretly has an OnlyFans account. Alright. So we got 6 games, 7 games only. Feels like there should have been another one. Am I missing somebody? Nils just sent in a game. Nils, what's up, man? You're sending games in on time now? Are you serious? Then you don't even have to, like, pay extra. Whoa. Maybe this will work. View on lichess. That really worked well, I'll tell you. That works really well. Analysis board? Jesus Christ, what? Wow. That doesn't work at all. Okay. Let's try the get PGN method. They got some bugs here, bro. There are just a few bugs to work out. Nothing major, just like nothing works. Other than that, it's fine. On their recommended browser, the great Chrome. Looks like a Grunfeld. Was Black playing the Grunfeld there? Anonymous lichess, we are Legion. We usually get enough games by the end of the stream. I get late submissions, so it's 8 already. 8 is enough. 7, 8 because of Mule Skinner. I should add Mule Skinner somewhere in the middle. But he's, yeah, we can do PGN with Mule Skinner as well. That'll make it easier for me. A mule, and I don't have to go to his study. Another... Now, which one is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. Get PGN. Study PGN, chapter PGN. Chapter PGN. Or copy PGN. Tools. Will copy PGN work? That worked. It didn't work. Well, that's great. No, it worked. It's hit or miss. Alright, that's cool. So game 7 is Nils. Nils. I don't know what color. Game 8 is Muleskinner. Guys, welcome to my stream. We're doing analysis for subscribers. The count. Ha ha ha. No more canceling lessons. Do you hear that, Mr. Coffee? You know what they say about excuses. No, seriously, if you have to cancel your lessons, that's alright. Alright. Just not too many. What are we doing here? Got 8 games. No quads this weekend, Mr. Coffee. What about Move 11? Move 11. Do we have a tournament coming up or not? Do you, should I say? Move 11, do you have any tournaments coming up? Mr. Coffee. This is Tomas's Black, game 1. Do they have quads in the UK? Does that exist? I bet they don't. Well, they probably don't have it anywhere but in the United States. This week is supposed to be the state championship, ... I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I got attorney coming up. From Free Roman. I thought you said under 24. Princess Chess played in a tournament where you have to be at least 21 to play. I'm thinking, I like this format. I mean, that's... It's like adult cruises, you know? I'm definitely down with more of those. I'm surprised somebody doesn't come up with like a, I don't know, challenge to the Supreme Court that children should be allowed to play in all chess tournaments or something. They'll probably say it violates the civil rights or something to not let 5-year-old kids into adult chess tournaments. But I think it's a great idea to encourage more adults to get into the game. I mean, if kids can have scholastic tournaments, adults should have adult tournaments. Totally makes sense. I mean, come on, they're annoying. They constantly eat candy at the board. They beat the shit out of the adults. All right. What's up here? What is up? All right, I'm gonna get started. School has quite busy. School has kept me quite busy. We'll play the quick chess Friday night and see how it goes. Alright. Do you want to have a life or do you want to play chess? You know, you have to make a choice, Mr. Coffee. Sorry guys, we're about half an hour late. We'll run it till 10 tonight. We're starting now at 7. 3 hours and it's martini time for Sladgie. But we did have a late start. Alright, so Tomas is black. E4, D5, E takes D5, Queen D5. Jim is in the house. Jim T884, subscribe tier 1, subscribe for 44 months. Yeah, it's definitely been longer than that. Jim has been a subscriber only 44 months? Yeah, maybe. It seems like he's been here forever, like he was a founder. Although he took some time off. Jim, great to have you. Thanks for subscribing. So we got Scandinavian with Queen takes d5, Knight f3. Yeah, I mean, this has been a thing. You know, this has been a thing since the early 2000s. I feel like Andrew Martin started the trend with some videos, like, for ChessBase back around 2003 or so. And now it's become, you know, pretty major alternative to the main lines. But I don't know. I've never really seriously played the Scandinavian with Queen takes d5 since that time. I have worked with some people. Like Move 11 actually was in the stream, and he played this for white. My knowledge is somewhat limited here. I know that I feel very mixed feelings about Bishop g4, but there was one variation that bothered me a little bit there. It was h3. There's also someone who asked, like, long ago, I remember they sent me a message asking about Bishop g4. It feels like you're doing too much already. Black can equalize cleanly, but you don't know exactly what you're doing. That's a quote from Move 11. It's not h3 right away. It must be h3 on the next move. Somebody asked me about this, right? But Queen e6 check. Yeah, this was the line. Wasn't this somebody asking about? I think it was like 2 years ago. I had a message, or someone on the stream sent me a message asking if this position was okay. It doesn't look great. But I don't think knight c3 is a major move. That's a transposition. Or what is this? Queen e6 check, Queen e2. Okay, so here you play knight c6. Mr. Coffee donating 3,000 bits. Dude, what lesson tomorrow? 3,000 bits to make up for him canceling his lesson. Alright. Wow. I'm just kidding, man. You can cancel if you want to. Just give me notice. I hate working. Yeah, I don't know. Knight c3 is just not played. It's not the point. You know, the point is to play like d4 and c4. It's funny though, the computer likes knight c3 here. Depth 47. You gotta ask the question, why is this move not more popular? Damaso versus Spraggett, Portugal 2014. It's interesting because those Portuguese guys are experts on the Scandinavian. Queen e2. So this looks like probably like a very safe way for white to play, but it's like a Nefedov-Petrov. Nothing special. Juicebox Wizard with 100 bits. Yeah, this would be pretty dry. White has like a microscopic edge. So that's not ambitious for white. The question is Bishop e2. Now knight c6. And this is where Juicebox Wizard, another 100 bits. Thank you. h3. The hype train is on the way. Thank you, Mr. Coffee. Very generous. 3,000 bit donation. He is the bit leader. Juicebox Wizard with 200 on the board. My problem here is this ending. Bishop takes, queen e6 check. Similar, but there's also king f1. Rausen, Kramnik, 2013. That's weird, right? Kramnik? Kramnik played the Scandinavian? That's pretty random. What is that? Like the Isle of Man, 2013? I mean, what Gibraltar? Like what tournament could Kramnik have played Rausen in? Juicebox was with his last 45. Funny, Castle's queenside and Stockfish likes black. Alright, so king f1 is not the main move. Queen e2 is. And then there's this. This line is very interesting. So notice there's this game from 2019. Kadrich versus Rachmanov. And I think this is pretty critical. Has to be gifting a tier 1 sub. Eduardo Matsu. Takes, check, pawn takes, and then pawn takes e6. This ending, you know, Rachmanov held because he's Rachmanov. But I don't know, you know, I feel like maybe White's a itty bitty tiny bit better here. I know it's a weird ending. Black will eventually get the bishop out with g6. There's also the possibility of e5 and e6. But black will try to get the knight on f5. That's a key concept here. If white... I don't know. I think white's actually a tiny bit better. But it's hard to explain why. I guess it's very minor. Alright, whatever. We're not really worried about that. So... But I think if white wants to play unambitiously, he can play that really safe with no losing chances. That's one flaw with this line. Juicebox Wizard, another 200 bits. But there's something about bishop h5. Like, this is less accurate for black somehow. Shimonov Nakamura, 2022. I don't know if I trust this bishop h5. So white should consider h3. If black wants more than a draw, he can't play bishop takes f3. Juicebox with another 65. Jim with the game submission. Game number 9. Alright, we're going to try to get through the first one. I'm streaming till 10. So we have a little under 3 hours. I forgot Excel Poker's game last time, you know, so that's why he's early on the list this week. He'll be next. Will this go in the analysis board? It works. Take much to make a train now. Well, we need more people. It takes 5 people to make a train. We're not talking about elephants. Alright. Going back to... Whoa, Tomas. D4 main line. Yeah, it looks like maybe Tomas makes a mistake here. Like, you have to put maximum pressure on the white center. What about e5? e5 perhaps too early because of this? Or white just takes it and goes into an ending. I guess if e5, white could just take on e5. Your tourney is starting in 3 weeks. You lost 110 elo in the last 2 years. You along with like half the chess world. So this is not apparently a problem. But I feel like there is like kind of elo deflation going on, and a lot of people will agree with that. Excel Poker. So part of it is probably deflation, but I mean I feel like I've been deflated, and a lot of people move to Austria. That's my recommendation. The entire country of Austria is like overrated by 50 points. Alright. Aster Beach just gifted tier 1 sub to Chess Kudo. So knight f6 is apparently like slightly inaccurate, but why? Well, this puts more pressure on the white center immediately. EduFun Chess on YouTube. Hey, what advice would you give to an 1800 FIDE to prepare? You have a GM tournament. You have a 2 GM tournament coming in 5 days. What kind of tournament now? Well, this is a 2 GM tournament. Is that a tournament with 2 GMs in it, or is it like 2 GM tournaments? I mean, you got to prepare your openings. I think that's... two different tournaments with many grandmasters. Yeah, I mean... making sure you're well prepared in the openings at that stage. That way, you know, the most important reason to be well prepared in the openings is so you don't have to use a lot of time. You conserve your time for the end game. Conserve your time for the middle game, the end game, if you know what you're doing in the opening. Alright. I also recommend... generally, I don't really do a lot of puzzles, but I think if you're gonna play in the near future, you know, you probably want to be doing like 100 puzzles a day in the days leading up to the tournament. I don't think like you have to do 200 puzzles every day, you know, for your life to be a great chess player, but I do think it's probably a good idea, like right before you're gonna play in a tournament, in the week before, to start doing more puzzles. To kind of, you know, be more sharp tactically. How do I don't. G-Souts. I used to hone my tactical skills by playing Blitz, but after quitting Blitz, I don't hone my tactical skills anymore. I have blunt tactical skills. Calculating helps. Anyway, knight f6 also, what else does this do? Doesn't put enough pressure on the d4 pawn. So now he plays queen a5 check. I know knight f6 is the wrong idea move, though. The only thing I can say is that this puts more direct pressure on the white center here. Knight h6, knight f5 is an idea. Right, that does happen. That's a good point. But I guess the most important thing is that rook d8 and castle's queenside setting up e5 is more important than playing knight f6. Knight f6 is just a little routine. Yeah, so here I would think queen f5. I know that people play this, and it's a move, but this is more central. I suppose both are possible, though. I'm not sure about the benefits of playing queen a5 check. I don't really understand. I mean, you're going to fall into like an Asterbait trap. It's a stockfish move. I mean, queen f5 is a modern computer pattern. You know, it always puts the queen on f5. The problem with queen f5 is that you can get forked by g4. But I guess a lot of times you're taking on f3 no matter what there. So I'm looking at the statistics. Queen f5 is the best move. Queen a5 isn't right. I would assume like bishop d2. This is going to be a problem. Mr. Coffey's right. Like getting good rest. This happened with my daughter when she was studying for her high school entry exams. She like studied too much one night and she was so tired that like she did really badly on the entry exams the next day. That's a typical example of the same thing can happen when you're like preparing for a chess tournament. Like you don't want to like burn out like studying, let's say, until you're so tired the next day. Mr. Coffey's right. It's better to just like be less prepared and well rested than really well prepared and like exhausted. So I think being practical. Queen a5 is definitely a mistake. Bishop d2, and then if you do this, you're done. This is the Astrobait's favorite trap. Queen b6, c5, queen takes d4, and bishop c3. Bye bye. Nice knowing you. So really, all queen a5 did was like draw the bishop out, which may not be a big deal, but I don't think that it can be negative for white. You should just go here directly. Now the point is, if d5, we castle. Dusan the Great. Dusan the Great has a game here from 2003. I don't know. I mean, d5 looks a little overextended, so we'll be able to chip away at it with e6. In a lot of cases, d5 is too much. So after queen f5, I guess bishop e3 or castles. This is probably like main line. Interestingly, there's a lot of variations where white like actually sacrifices a pawn, maybe sacrifices the d pawn. Dude, a tired mind cannot calculate properly. That's how I am right now. I mean, if you asked me to play a tournament game now where I worked all day, my calculation is really, really inaccurate. But, our hero here, Tomas Streinsen, playing black, he should know the opening a little bit better. So knight f6 is inaccurate, this is inaccurate, and now, he's lucky that he found the right general idea here. Bishop d2 helps white in one respect, though. Although it's not a great square for the bishop, these bishops are good overall. They have good scope, looking both ways. But I think the fact that you block the queen is going to make a big difference. When this pawn comes to d5, if the pawn comes to d5 early, black won't be able to just castle. So if white were to play this right now, maybe it's not a big deal. I'm honestly, thinking knight e5. There's also bishop takes f3, possibly fine. Bishop takes f3, knight here. So it's too early. Possibly other moves like knight d4 as well. Too early to do d5. Here's a game where white played bishop c3. That also looks artificial to me. That doesn't look right. So in the game in question, queen a4, this also looks artificial, but more dangerous. This is a very concrete threat. Even though the queen is kind of artificially placed, it might prevent castling queenside or make it very difficult for black, but he did it anyway. I mean, what are you going to do? Like, sacrifice a piece when white plays d5 here? It looks like black's going to have to be sacrificing his a7 pawn. White is sort of committed to this now. And then we're sacrificing the a7 pawn, I guess. So knight e5. The other possibility is bishop takes f3. Now, Tomas Streinsen, when I'm tired, I start stuttering too. Or being dyslexic. We've got to analyze these two moves. Bishop takes f3 and knight e5. I mean, obviously sacrificing a piece here needs to be considered as well. But I think it's pretty obvious that this is not enough. You get only 2 pawns for the piece, and although you have kind of a macho style going on here, you don't have enough compensation for the sacrifice piece. So it's a question of only knight e5 or bishop takes f3. Bishop takes f3, white has both recaptures. Obviously, this doesn't work. I mean, it's possible, but I'm very unconvinced by this. Queen a7 and this here. That looks more dangerous for white than it is for black, honestly. I mean, anything could happen, you know, but I don't know. Let's see. Is this totally crazy? I mean, this might be possible. It might be possible for white to play like that, but it's also not our only option. I got to imagine he would take here. White would have to take here. Black has bishop takes g2, and then you know, white needs like 2 moves. He doesn't have time for 2 moves, so rook g1, and then what? There's a check on a8. Yeah, b6 a thing here? No, there's no time. I mean, our bishop's hanging. What does black play now? Bishop c6, knight c3. The oracle says black's clearly better, but that's not, you know, like a winning position, clearly better. So it's scary, like bishop c6, knight c3, with the idea of castle queenside. I mean, there's a queen on a7, and you're like right on the precipice of something bad happening here with black. But it looks like bishop c5. This is insane. Check, king d7. Walking in discoveries. Check, king e7. And you just walk away like Victor Korchnoi or something. Unbelievable. Knight d5 check. Look at this. Look at this variation. This is insane. Queen takes d5. No. Anyway, it could get very complicated. That I don't dismiss that variation, you know, in a practical game. Astrobate, thanks for the gift sub. But obviously, you know, Tomas most likely considered it. This looks safer. But I think you also got to consider this move, right? Bishop takes. Alright, so he plays this. I don't know, is this safer though? I mean, still a7 is hanging. I say it's safer, I'm not sure. I mean, it's kind of similar. I guess it's safer in respect that this file doesn't open up. You know, it's one thing to lose a7, but ultimately black's king, you know, won't be in quite as much danger. Well, Thomas, welcome. You know, it's really complicated. But I think, like, honestly, queen a5 is bad. You know, probably queen a4 isn't white's best move, but it's certainly interesting. And then, you know, again, like, he probably can sack a pawn or something, I don't know, but d5 is very logical. So here, yeah, I mean, this is what I probably would have played, but we didn't even begin to analyze the other possibilities, like, for example, this. This is complicated too. You know, what happens after like that? Bishop d1. What is going on here? Queen e4 check? Like, I like how this queen is protected. This extremely strange position. But it looks like white is suspiciously... Actually, both sides are suspiciously behind in development. Yeah, I mean, this leads to some bizarre positions, man. Yeah, I really don't know what's going on. Knight e5, knight d4. And now you have knight d3 check. My big question would be this. Whoops, not that. This. Knight d3 check. Bishop takes d3, queen takes d3. Queen a7. And then, like, do we have anything? There is queen e4 check. There's also other moves. And this is not a crushing threat, necessarily. So queen a5 was a home prep. threat of knight c6. Nice idea. So knight d4, this is super complicated. Queen e4, he plays knight c3. Wow. So knight c3 with the idea of you go like knight, you go queen takes knight, and he plays bishop e3, and now you're trapping, your queen is trapped, except maybe it's not. Is that what we're looking at here? Exactly. Knight c3, you didn't do it though. Okay, if this, is your queen trapped? Are you sure? Are you absolutely sure? I have this weird feeling like black might have something here. Your queen isn't trapped though, you have this move. Now, why do we abandon this variation? You think the other variation is better? Potency. Well, that's why we have Arsenal fan in the, in the analysis. We're looking for potency. Knight d3 check. He's very potent. So you think it's better to go knight d3 check first? Yeah, well, what's the difference, right? Anonymous player, I think it's not so much that it's a weird position, it's just incredibly complicated, Maybe it just transposes. It's just a transposition. Check here. Maybe he's right, it's more forcing the way he played it. Now he's up a piece. Temporarily. You have knight takes b2. You have a piece to give back, man. You have knight takes b2 at the minimum, which looks like you can't possibly be worse after knight takes b2. You also have knight c5. Damn, you also have knight f4 check. That's a lot of choices. Unfortunately, knight f4 check runs into king f3, which I don't really like. Don't think that brings any sort of benefit. Yeah, exactly, Arsenal. No, I don't think there is something. I mean, I think that's the problem. Like, knight f4 check, king f3. That's the game. I don't know if that I like that he played this way. Wow. You really went for that. Because you can play this. This is dangerous, though, I guess, opening up the b file, huh? I mean, what's he going to do? He has to go into the ending? He's going to have to go into this ending, man. I mean, you're up a pawn here. And I mean, I don't really think that white has enough compensation. You got e6, bro. This looks really good for black. Where I come from, this is like nearly winning. So, I'm like, okay, if I'm playing this position, I mean, I don't think he can do anything else. This just doesn't look good for white. So he has to go into the ending after that. So you got that in your back pocket, and then you look the other line and say, all right, is there something here? And I rejected it because of bishop takes f4. But apparently it's not so clear. You're like hunting his king. Check. And then what? Equal material, but the white king is less safe than the black king now. Was there anything else Arsenal suggested? Queen e5, king takes d3. King takes d3? Sorry? Queen e5 what? King f3, queen d3. Ah. Say what? Queen e5? is knight f4, king f3, queen d3. Yes, that's an option. Yeah, this is definitely an option. But I mean, is it really better than the other one? King takes f4. And then you got like e5 check. Does he even do king takes f4? Maybe not. You know, maybe white plays a different move, right? White would just do, well, actually, is it good enough? You know, rook d1, queen f5, for example. Bishop takes f4, g5. You're winning a piece. Yeah, Arsenal has a good point. I mean, the king f4 is pretty dangerous. Is it possible we're winning a piece here? I mean, obviously there's some danger. You know, I mean, this still could be just like queen takes a7. I mean, I don't know. It's not like black's completely safe. Black has these pieces totally stuck on the back rank. Yeah, I think that white should play it as a long-term piece sacrifice, not try to get the piece back and take his chances. It's possible we're going to have problems with coordination. Yeah, g5 is a good idea. Yeah, let's say like g5, queen a7 check, a8 check, king d7, queen b7. Is there a mate? Is there a mate here, master? Nothing complicated about this position at all. It looks pretty nasty. Check here, and then another check. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a mate. Yeah, but, well, we can't screw around with the rook move because white has perpetual. At least. We have to make every move count with check. So I guess, knight takes g2. Ooh, my head hurts. My head hurts. He's not slipping away, Uber driver. Rook g8. Wow. Yeah, that looks like mate. That is mate. Here and mate. So he can't take on g4. Knight takes g2 check. Ouch. That's checkmate. Yeah, that's game over. So this g5 is pretty interesting. White would have to take some sort of defensive measures then. You know, but he can. I mean, he has g4. So he can't take on b7. He can't check on a8. He has to play like g4 or h3 or whatever, you know, to slow it down. But anyway, this is like very complicated. So the game, he went with the forcing variation. Check, check, check. Here. Only move. And this is an interesting position. Equal material, the white king is very much exposed, but there's still the threat of queen a7. But his king has some chance of getting away, and we're still behind in development. Do you have, you know, g5 again, an option? The main point would be like this, but he has bishop g3 if g5. And I don't really think it's that great. So you played e5, but yeah, e6 is also interesting. It's probably too slow. So it looks like his move is objectively best. And bishop g3 is forced. Probably forced. And then bishop c5 check. And now he just like goes somewhere safe, like d2. But Tomas defended a7, so now white doesn't have any... He doesn't have any threats of his own for the time being, and the black king is totally safe. That's pretty impressive. So now he can kind of, like, take his time. I think the important thing is the white king doesn't escape somehow. Of course, c6 is interesting. It's not interesting, it's very interesting. Yeah, maybe this move is too slow. I mean, it does introduce this possibility of pushing the pawn. I mean, it could get a little complicated, like if white does, I don't know, rook c1, so there's this. But I mean... The c-file will also be an issue for black if the white king... You know, the white king is actually relatively safe if he goes back. No, rook e8 is top, you know, top couple of moves, but it does seem like c6 might be better. Now, which way does he go? Major discussion point. The white king could actually go possibly to like b3. Yep, I'm not surprised. But Houston has a problem with rook d6, right? It's a nice idea, but maybe he's making a mistake. He thought he could like escape all checks, but objectively maybe he should just, you know, go wherever back. I don't know. c1, I guess. You know, in retrospect, c1 seems more rational. Oh, rook d3 I didn't consider. Well, rook d3. Rook d3 allows e4. I'm not sure we want to open up that can of worms. I mean, obviously there's this, but I think our threats are more immediate. Rook e3. Just sacrificing in exchange. Possible. This is probably, you know, winning for black, but gonna require like very, very good technique and accurate play. Yeah, that's a reasonable defense to try for white. This is really reckless. Maybe he has a3 though. You know, maybe it's not GG. He has a3 and king a2. So what's up here? Well, a3 is a problem. I thought it was GG, but I saw this. You know, and he's covering c2, so you can't get in there. If check, he just plays king a2. Nothing fancy. Now, you're probably still better, but it hardly looks easy. A rook a6 first. Oh no, that's why it's GG. Jesus Christ. Arsenal sees everything. Totally missed it. How do you sharpen your tactics, Sladgie? Yeah, I don't. Oh man, yeah, he doesn't have it. Well, you would have to... Yeah, it's over. Shit. So you're actually threatening to trap his queen. It's a shame this rook on e8 is protected. Jeez. Yeah, maybe he missed that when he put his king on b3. Wow. Yeah, I think he's lost now. This clearly doesn't help. So I guess it's just over. There's no move, right? Like knight b5, you lose the queen. Well, let's say knight b5 here. It's really sick. God, man. Yeah, he's just lost. Nice game. So he had to sack his queen. Okay, he got something for it. That's a nice try. He got the pawn on e5 and a rook. Knocked your knight back. So actually this still looks a little bit like scary for black. You have to go on the defensive for a moment. Now what, knight f6? Yeah. Because knight d6 would allow rook e7. Knight f6. Wait, almost has something here. He has a pawn. What does he have? A pawn and a rook. Not quite enough. This was a good game, though. I mean, this was an interesting game. Wow, king d8. Jeez. I'm not playing that move. Homie don't play king d8 here. I think like b6 looks safer, but it would cut off your rook. So I get it. I get it. Do you have anything else? Bishop d4? No. Bishop d6? Not really. It's like you gotta make way for your king. Either b6. Let's see what the optimal is. Bishop d4, queen g4, bishop d4. How does bishop d4 work? Like takes here? Oh, you can go back. Wait, what? No, I don't know. There's a check. Yeah, we spent like half an hour on this game. I don't have that much time to do that. But, this is the problem. Now white has enough material for the queen. Almost. But I guess almost doesn't count. That's the problem. That's the horseshoes, hand grenades joke and dancing. White has like 7.5 points for the queen. I mean, it's not really enough. Lost is lost. Yeah. Anyway, alright. This king d8 was a little too scary for my blood. I didn't like pinning myself. It looks like you got it under control, though. And a sensible material give back. And this is over. Nice, bishop. Alright, good game by Tomas. Interesting opening preparation. Okay, XL Poker's game was from last week. This game we didn't get in last week. We got a player who's my viewer who submitted a game. Gray Caps user. But you have to be a subscriber. Did you get a gift sub? Only subscribers get analysis games. You have to be a subscriber. And I think we're on the last one. I don't guarantee game 10 will get included. So I've only got 2 hours and 15 minutes. Game 10 would be the last possible. XL Poker is white. Who is Gray Caps? He played like the move that XL Poker hates. Okay, this is a random player. 15-minute. Here on rated rapid game here on lichess. XL Poker hates it when I play b6, so he sent this for me. Yeah, he's a good player. If it's good enough for Aliakin, it's good enough for me. G3. You played him already several times? Okay. It's also possible for black to play like c5, I guess, and then you have to decide if you want to play a fianchetto Benoni or not. But b6 is a bad move there. Not a great fianchetto Benoni. So this is better. Yeah, wow, he played the move I played against Banus, the g6. So I think you were here when I showed my Banus game. So c4 castles and yeah, Tommy played d5. So this is theoretically white's best move. I also haven't played this move with white personally because it's tricky. I mean, white has to be careful that these pawns don't become overextended, and I think like you have to really be very proactive and accurate if you're gonna play d5. It's maybe the best move, but again, like space advantage comes with responsibility, so it's high. Yeah, that's my game with Banus. I played c6. I'm not sure it's the best move though. It's very it requires a lot of responsibility. It's not clear what's black's best move in this variation. There's a ton of moves. Blobix like played b5, and I couldn't remember the variation, so I ended up playing c6. But black's supposed to play knight e4 here. This is a very important move for black. This is like the Queen's Indian, you know. You have less space, you have to trade pieces to free your position. This is my game with Romanov. Take, bishop e3. But it's very, very equal. Knight e4, knight e5. That's an interesting concept. Conscript. I guess knight e5 is, I don't know if you mean it here, but, you know, black will trade a bunch of pieces, not on e5. This has never been played. I mean, you would do this, and it's a lot of swapping, you know. I think that black's fine here. Too many swappings. So after knight e4, XL Poker played queen c2. There's also queen d3, bishop d2, and of course, like knight takes knight. But you know, black needs to play knight e4. It's not optional. Okay, there is one other move that black can play here, I guess, like e6. E6 is a Queen's Indian. It could even come out of like a more normal Queen's Indian move order. I had a game like this against a similar game against Schieberspieler, except his bishop was on e2 the other day. I mean, this is a little bit different. So, anyway, c5, I don't like the look of that. That looks like a bad Benoni. And when we look at the list of players, Darko Dmitrievich, Richard Bialek, Rishkovsky just died the other day, yesterday, or a few days ago. I never played him, but he was a well-known grandmaster from Russia. Older. He must have been pretty old. Late 70s, I don't know, maybe 80. So c5, d5, and then it's interesting that here no one has played e6. What do you think of c5, bishop e3? I think that d5 is really strong. So any other move would be a mistake. But you have to watch out for knight g4. Don't really like knight g4. In this particular position. Yeah, I mean, white... I saw an example where someone played this in a recent game, and it's Uber driver style. Not good. So d5 is pretty much a no-brainer. I was just wondering about this. Like, the vast majority of players here played d6. You know, how bad would it be to play e6? Maybe it would like transpose or something. And the computer doesn't like e6 for some reason. What is it about e6? Not clear. Oh wow, there's an interesting line. E4, pawn takes pawn, E5. Oh shit. And this is Sebastian Bogner game from 2015. Kenny Solomon versus Sebastian Bogner. Oh shit. That's a nice little trick. That's why you play D6. Interesting. Alright, so D6, but I don't like Black's game. I guess it's playable. The Fianchetto Benoni's not that dangerous, but Black's misplaced his bishop. Now, Excel Poker doesn't have to play E4 right away, but I don't know what else to do. You have other moves you could play here. I mean, E4 seems like pretty much standard. Can Black break? I mean, like, D6 is very weak now. If you play E6, take. I was talking about this with Astrobate today. You know, the whole idea of strategically, you know, trying to break up the enemy structure with something like this. Yeah, everybody played knight on BD7. But to me, it's just a bad Benoni for Black. Yeah, now he just did something totally coffee house. So H3 is a good move, taking away knight G4. And Black, I think Black misunderstands the position here. You know, it's almost like he thinks that, it looks like he thinks that Excel Poker is going to play G4 and go for space or something, but the intention is just to take away the G4 square. He's not intending to play G4 necessarily. So this is a reckless move by Black. Yeah, I mean, it's passive, but Ray Bradbury played it. Swayams. Wow, B5. B5 turns it into a Benko. Rauf Mamedov played this against Idani. Well, that's at least a try. Now you turn it into a Benko. It's not a great Benko, but it's a Benko. Yeah, that's definitely better than H5. I'd rather be down a pawn with a tempo down Benko than play H5. Very little good can come of this for Black. This is strong. And now A6. I mean, I think like most people would like auto play A4 here. Of course, there's some slight downside in playing A4 that you lose flexibility on the queen side. But I mean, the standard sort of A4, Rook A3. You could play E5, but you know, this is an interesting suggestion. We're looking at swaps again. This is a terrible threat of playing knight C6. So this probably forced take. I mean, I admit that white's better. I wouldn't argue with that ever. White's clearly better. I like E4 though. I mean, I don't think like Black really has any plan here. So you can slowly increase your space advantage. Rook E1 gives him one more chance to play the Benko, but it's... I mean, I still think that Black maybe should go for it. You know? Essentially, it's a Benko. Not the best Benko, but a bad Benko is better than no Benko at all. I guess a bad Benko is better... Oh, he did that. Okay. Bad Benko is better than a bad Benoni? Is that the takeaway from this? I think that's the takeaway from this. Bad Benko better than bad Benoni. If the Benko's better than the Benoni, is a bad Benko better than a bad Benoni by default? That's the question that we're answering today. I wouldn't have given him that chance, but I wouldn't argue that you're not still clearly better. Benoni slander. You got bishop f1 when you need it. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, White has played this very professionally, I think. And now Black had no other choice but to play knight e8, which is a good move. I know. I would like take back h5 though. Don't think h5 was really necessary. Queen d2, beautiful, isn't it? But he's got knight c7 now. Black also has to watch out for a5, but I'm not sure it does anything. Knight c7. Now what do we do? Okay, so Excel Poker just takes. Now we have backwardness on the b file. And then trades off dangerous bishop. This makes a lot of sense. How are we recapturing with the rook on f1 or the king? You know, I like how Arsenal pointed out something earlier that we didn't talk about, but you know, the idea of Black playing f5 exists in the Benoni and the Benko, and clearly that move is like not part of the program anymore. Because Black has played h5, he'll be so weak. Like f5 is no longer even in the discussion. But it's a good point, you know. Like if he hadn't played h5, maybe there'd be some scenario where f5 would be like a viable option. Now it looks like drastically weakening. Yeah, it's just like there's no way he can do all that shit and his position doesn't fall apart. Here, take, and Black has nagging counterplay. We got check in knight d2. This is a good move. I think the point is to free up this square for the knight. Very nice. I don't know if White should exchange on a6. It's a good question. I mean, the rook seems to be useful here. It's a tough call. Take with the rook. Classic Benko. So the question is, how much compensation does Black have for the sacrificed pawn? The answer is not enough to win. But is it enough to draw? You know, does Black have enough compensation to legitimately play and try to hold a draw here? If he hadn't played h5, probably his chances would be microscopically higher. But it's going to come down to e5 break and a general kingside advance. Well, I mean, I think that White only plays f4 when everything is like ready. But you know, now that he's played h5, honestly, maybe we don't, you know, maybe we have something else like going for g4. But I don't like this move for Black, you know. I don't understand like provoking f4 here. f4 is a very natural move for White, and maybe Black has other options. You know, it's pretty far out to consider e6. I would probably just keep my pieces piled up on the queen side and not make any more pawn moves. But this looks too provocative to me. Stockfish will probably be like g5. Maybe a king move? Honestly, we could do like maybe a queen like accelerated dragon maneuver. You get the queen over here. You gotta say, like, that queen on c7 is pretty lame. But if king h7, then the g4 might become a thing. Yeah, it's a tricky position. I don't like knight e5, though. I'm not afraid to play f4, but white does have to be careful. Yeah. Traction. He's tripled up here. And knight b6. Yeah, this looks weird. Knight f6. Kind of asking for it again. Though it is difficult to give black any counterplay. He doesn't have c4. Oh. Well, that's an interesting idea. But there's this. Oh, he has to take the pawn. I mean, there could be some hope here. Although I have my doubts. Like, I don't like your chances against the computer for sure here. Queen a3 or something. Rook b2 doesn't work. I don't like your chances against like a 2600, but black has at least a chance there. Some chance. Yeah, this looks like he's walking into the kingside attack. Which is, yeah. I don't like this. I agree, stick to the queen side, bro. He found an interesting move, rook d4. Classic Benko. Penetration. By the way, that's very classic. Even in rook endings in the Benko that happens. And now, example profound, knight to c4. Nice square. It's a good thing we kept our rook on e1 to keep this protected. Do I have time for one more game? We will find out, Nefedov. I don't know. I don't promise. No promises. No promises. You're always late for everything. Nefedov never carefully schedules anything. He's like the most punctual person and stuff. Alright. You're welcome to try. H takes g4. H takes g4. Holy bleep. I just had this weird idea that maybe black could do this. That can't possibly work, right? It doesn't even do anything. This is total desperation. That just can't work. Well, we would just take here. And black's down a piece. I mean... So he plays this. Oh. See, now he's glad he played h5. The h5 was like the move that loses. There's no checks. And we're just getting mated on the h-file. So his last chance is like rook d2 check. Or there's always like come up and see me sometime. King g7. Come up and see me sometime. Queen h6 check. And then king f6, g5 check. King f5, queen h3 check. Needless to say, this is going to end in mate. King takes f4, check. King takes g5, and then finally there will be a mate. So going up doesn't solve the problem. This is the only chance. Now, interestingly, here you have a move. Ah, that's what he missed. He was hoping for perpetual check. Nice try. So you could also play king f1. It looks like. Oh my God! If king f1, you can also play king f1. No problem. Oh man, queen c4. So there is only one place you can go. This is your only move. Nice. Now the only checks are on g2 and d1. Wow. Oh, this was creative. He found the diagonal. You see how this guy is a pretty good player. Tactically, you know, he's pretty inventive. You had to actually win a rook. Wow. The a-pawn is a killer. Well, he hung a rook, but I mean, rook a1 would be like kind of a meaner way to kill him. You never know, though. You might blunder into like a what do you call it, perpetual check or whatever. We definitely don't allow like knight on f3 check here. That would be a disaster. Can you imagine if the black knight went to f3 check? Perpetual. Alright. Good game, man. h5 too much. So we're on to the next XL Poker game. Oh no. Wait, when was this from? It's from like last week or something? Oh no. Didn't you watch this last week? Did I? Yeah, we did. We did. Okay. We did, didn't we? Didn't we? Yeah, we did that. Maybe it's my bad. Maybe it was my bad. Maybe he sent me another game and I missed it. Yesterday. No, he sent me the same game again. That's not right. We're not going to do the same game again. Alright, Nefidav's game over the board. Schumacher sent us the same game again. He was too drunk last week to like see the stream, so he wants me to do it again. That doesn't count. Just because you were too drunk last week to watch the analysis doesn't mean I'm going to do the same game again. So XL Poker like is excused. Alright, copy PGN. Analysis board. Nefidav, paste. You're excused. Where are you on the list? Let me check. You had good games so far. Oh, Nils, you're in 7th place. Well, currently, we've done 2 games, so and Schumacher is in a bad game. So, move 11 is next. Did I not put Asterbait in? Oh no. Where's Asterbait's game? Asterbait, where's your game, bro? He's not even online. Where the heck is he? That's weird. I guess I forgot to add it or something. That's gotta be a bribe. Exactly. Now Asterbait sent it a few times earlier than a few other people. It was my mistake not putting it in. Um, he sent it yesterday or something. Yeah, we'll put him right in front of Nils. All right. So Nils was saying, where am I in the list? Let's see. Move 11, Hey Smiro, only Arses, Asterbait, and Nils. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then Mule Skinner, Jim, and Nefedov. I'm still bribable, of course. That's got to be a bribe. Let me check the Streamlabs for bribes. We got 100 bits from anonymous player 43 minutes ago, but no sign of bribes yet. So next we go with move 11. I don't know. I haven't seen any evidence of bribes, just rumors and smoke and mirrors and stuff. It's like bidding. We almost got a hype train today too, but that fizzled. The bribery coast. Asteroid, we're not doing your game yet. You haven't bribed me. Getting ready to start my move 11 game. Waiting for the bribe. Alright guys, I'm streaming till 10. We've got 2 hours. Tomorrow is Friday. Rapid challenges in the morning. No, it's not a bribe, it's a tip. That's like when it's not a timeout. I mean, it's not a ban, it's a timeout. It's a long timeout. Not a bribe, it's a tip. It's like in the hospital here, you have to the state pays the doctors. So the tradition, although they crack down on it, is like when your wife has a baby, or if you have to have a surgery, like technically you don't have to pay, but you're supposed to give money to the doctor. I'm like the Hungarian chess doctor. I'll analyze the games, but if you really want them analyzed properly, you gotta slip me some money under the table. So $10. The list magically changed. Yes. Wow. Look at that. Did you know you could just drop and click these games right in there? Isn't that weird? You bribed. I had the feeling it was the black side with Grunfeld. Am I right? Thanks for not leaving a forceps size hole. Yeah. Thanks for breaking me. Another mouth to feed. Damn, this is a long game. That costs a double bribe. I saw this bishop on g7 and the pawn on e5, and I thought, oh, it's a Grunfeld. That's pretty funny. I have to admit, I thought it was a Grunfeld. Alright. One of those, what's it called? Seville variations. So, Nils is white. No, Nils is black. E4, E5. The Roy Lopez. Thank God your opponent didn't play bishop c4. I just want to vomit every time someone plays bishop c4 against me. Bobby Fischer never played bishop c4. What is this? The 20th century? Alright. We're reverting. It's like that family in Turkey that some pseudoscientists are claiming they're regressing because they walk on all fours because they have some sort of genetic deformity. Society's regressing, where we're going back from the Roy Lopez to playing the Joker piano with white. I agree, the Roy Lopez needs a lot of skill to master. But it's ridiculous how many people play bishop c4 versus bishop e5 now. F5 is too boring. Yeah, because some people play the exchange variation, Nefyadov. It's like you're playing with yourself. If Nefyadov plays Nefyadov a match, every game where he's white is an exchange Roy Lopez? No. No, if Nefyadov plays against Nefyadov, every match they play, every game would be a Schliemann, right? You would be every game a Schliemann. That's sick. But better than the exchange variation. Alright. Classical Roy Lopez here. You know, I just want to say, like, I think this Rubinstein system, they're calling it the Averbach. It's a little bit passive. It's kind of related to the Steinitz, but I think it's worth thinking about, at least. I had a training game with move 11. Like, bishop takes c6 is considered to be the acid test. I'm just saying, like, b5 is not automatic. Like, black doesn't have to play b5. Alright. Bishop b3, castles. I know your openings. Yeah, well, you're very consistent, but, you know, you played the Pirtz against me when you beat me a couple times ago by transposition. That I didn't detect. Your openings are too unique. Okay, so no anti-martial. And no martial anyway. Good. This feels like real chess. White plays h3, black plays knight a5, bishop c2, c5. c5 is pretty much universal. What's up with, like, bishop b7, by the way? Why is bishop b7 so bad? I guess d4 is too fast, and then you can't keep the center. Yeah. I mean, couldn't you play bishop b7 though, and then on d4 play knight on bd7 or knight fd7? Couldn't this be playable? Why is this so bad? Oh, this is a variation. Oh, this is a weird variation with knight c4 there. Well, that's weird. Karpov played this. I would think knight d7 would be some kind of transposition, but it's not. Okay. I just wondered if there's an alternative. I don't remember, like, ever seeing anyone play this, but it just occurred to me, like, couldn't you do it? No, I know. Oh, that's interesting. Because your friend Frolov, I played him in the Siam tournament like 4 years ago. It was 2020. Well, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 2019, and you know, that was interesting because it was Frolov and this sensation, the young woman player Asubayeva, and there was a game. They were the two strongest players next to me. You know, we were the three strongest players in the tournament, and you know, so any game between like two of us was like probably the best games in the tournament, and we fought all the games, and so I had a really tense game with Asubayeva, and I had a really tense game with Frolov, and Frolov had a really tense game with her, you know, and they played a Roy Lopez, which is interesting, because yeah, he has a beard. I didn't check the other parts of his body, but he, you know, the interesting thing was that she played the black side of the Roy against him. It was some kind of like strong point variation. You know, so he must be kind of, you know, very theoretically knowledgeable in the main lines. c5, d4, queen c7. This is classic. Queen c7 is not the only move, but it's like main move. Knight on bd2. There's also a4, maybe? Maybe not here. Yeah, so there's so many different variations. I don't know, you know. Okay, the one thing I do know is Kira's like rook d8, but I think that's fallen out of fashion. Yeah, now that I think about it, looking at this a while back, if I remember correctly, maybe Nils's move is kind of considered to be one of the main lines. Rook e8 might be pretty good. They used to think rook d8 was the best. This variation seems, at least according to the computer, not as good as rook e8, which is interesting. This is another type of position where you open the c file, and of course black can play passively like knight c6. Like Ahms plays like this old school style, where you just like curl up in a ball and defend kind of like passively. Okay, so yeah, it looks like it's possible to play d5, but it's not clear that's beneficial. With rook e8, you can put pressure on the e4. But I'm just trying to think about what white's other options are here. b3, weakening the c3 square. But it has a good score. I've never really been comfortable with playing b3 in the Royal Lopez, to be honest. It happens a lot in the Breyer variation. Knight f1 looks normal. And now g6. And again b3. But b3 here stops knight c4. So that kind of makes some sense. You don't necessarily have to play bishop b2. I always feel weird when this bishop goes to that diagonal and then it doesn't control this diagonal any longer. This looks to be very normal position. My old friend Sladgie Hazai 1991. But b4 is a move, but it's like, maybe it loses to queen c3. No. I don't know. I would think that b4 is a move, Arsenal. Maybe the problem is like I take and then double attack, like this and this. So I could do take, and here. And now this is attacked, this is attacked. How do you defend against both? I'm not sure that I like that. Yeah, I mean, obviously if white plays like d5, we can do c4. Shanklin did this. This is an old game from 2012, but I mean, typically black will take the chance to play c4 before white does. And the knight at least has a chance to get back in the game. I am not an expert on this at all. Not really playing the black side of the Royal Lopez. Knight g3, bishop f8, and now bishop g5, which looks like a natural move. It's obviously not a bad move. Provoking, I would assume bishop g7. So Nils here, you played knight d7, but what about, bishop g7? Is our bishop just less active here? Yeah, black, I agree. You don't have to put it on b7, obviously, and sometimes he goes to d7. But I like the bishop on c8, It's flexible. I don't see any problem with this. It looks like b3 is the most common move. Oh, Pinter has games with black. Pinter is like a trainer for the Hungarian team, or used to be, and he would teach like Almashi and a lot of the Hungarian players the black side of the Lopez, or train with them. especially in this opening. Here he lost a couple of games. This exact position. Wow, d5, of course, makes sense. It's kind of committal. a4 is a move. But I don't understand why like no one else has played your opponent's move. I mean, this move looks very logical. You want to keep looking at c5. Sure, I get it. This is like a King's Indian. You know, your bishop has some potential. I'm not super happy about playing knight d7 though. Although maybe it doesn't matter. I mean, he doesn't really have any pieces that can come into d5. The most recent game is Robson's Tukopin 2017. Texas, probably. Still, bishop g5 seems logical. You have to make a choice between bishop g7 or knight d7. I don't think either of those moves is optimal for you. You don't really want to retreat your knight, and you don't necessarily want to play bishop g7. But I was thinking, if you play bishop g7, what does white do now? If he plays queen d2, you know, okay, you got knight c4. So he can't play that. He can play queen c1, but that doesn't look right. What does he play after bishop g7? Pawn takes pawn. I'm just like asking a question here. If we play bishop g7, you could always play d5 as well. That shuts down the bishop on g7. But then black would play h6. Yeah, and then the white bishop probably has to go back to c1. It's a very closed game. So it's interesting. What does the engine say? It literally thinks they're equal. Yeah, bishop g7, d5, h6, bishop c1 is the variation the computer gives. Interesting. Okay, clearly this is not so bad, but I mean, not so great either. Now, I don't see any reason for white to release the tension here. Is this a thing? You know, is he concerned about you taking on here? Maybe he's worried about that. Let me see. Bishop g5. Sorry. Bishop g5, knight d7. d5. Is he concerned that if he makes another move, like, what other move, first of all? That's really the problem, isn't it? Like, white doesn't have waiting moves. You know, what the hell is our waiting move here? Like we said, queen c1 or something. This is kind of awkward. So I guess lack of waiting moves for white after knight d7. You know what some people might play? It's pretty ugly, but like rook c1. Then you have a problem with the bishop. No, it doesn't work. You're threatening h6 and knight c4 now. This is a problem for white. He can't make a waiting move. So d5, h6, bishop e3. That seems like a really weird move. Like forcing you to play knight c4, which is constructive. I mean, it's tough for some amateurs to play this, but you know, objectively, he should probably play bishop c1. I don't know. I don't see how, you know, giving you a tempo to get your knight back toward the game is necessarily beneficial, but he likes it. Maybe he just doesn't like the knight, you know, doesn't think the knight is that great placed on b6. Okay? Let's see. Maybe he has a point. Maybe the knight was better off going to like b7 and c5 ultimately. So now making a very committal move, Nils, with a5. F5 looks a little hard to come by. But we need space, huh? I'm voting for knight. I'm voting on pulling this knight back to b6. Of course, king h7. Of course, that's possible arsenal. But I was wondering if we played this immediately, maybe we could stake out some space before white, can stop us or something. And then we can take, if he plays a4, which is possible, by the way. Sometimes they do that. Yeah, you can do a4, but do you want to give up your late-scored bishop? Is it worth giving up your late-scored bishop for the sake of the structure? I'm not completely sold on it. That's a debatable... It's a debatable question. I don't know. Alright, so Nils played a5. This has its points too. He can answer a4 with b4. But I'm a little bit scared about these light squares. Now bishop back to e3. Is this an issue? White is clearly not a potser, Now he goes really postal with h4. I mean, this is kind of a weird suggestion. Of course, knight h2 is possible. Could you play b4? Is it really bad? Benjamin actually mentioned his move. I just wasn't sure about this. Because it looks hard for black to break the blockade. But the computer doesn't like it. It's not the most flexible approach. But anyways, h4 very aggressive. And now you went with takes. Why? Why are we taking? Because we didn't know what else to do. Okay. Constructive moves only. Dude, are we under some immediate threat here? Shit. So knight c5 just doesn't really do anything? Maybe he wants to go a4 and undermine the c4 square. He says pressure c3, but I mean, we don't even have we can't even move our rook to the c file yet. Right, but you haven't moved your bishop yet. I'm just wondering why now? You don't have to do this now. Well, you could make another move, and this is pretty weird. This is... I admit there's no good square for your bishop. What about this? This seems like a logical move. And then bishop d7, and then you're talking about... The question is, how fast is white's attack? I mean, does he have an attack? Okay, knight f6. Ah, h4. Right. Yeah, that would probably force white to play knight h2, pretty much. And then you could... Yeah, that's a good move. Then they'll do f3, one of those things, and then we have time to play this. And Nils is talking about pressuring c3. So it's pretty complicated. I mean, this is one of those situations where maybe, yeah. I mean, if we wait too long, yeah, this is hanging. I mean, it's really not easy for us. Maybe we can take on c3 there. I was also thinking queen f2. I mean, this is a super complex game. I agree you need counterplay. But I feel like you're crumbling your own position without a concrete reason. Unless you have a concrete reason to do this, I say don't make the move. He doesn't seem to have an immediate threat. If your plan is to like take and play a4 and undermine control of this square, then it's something like concrete, and I understand it. But I don't like playing pawn takes pawn without... You're taking away from the center without a concrete follow-up. And now bishop g7 is like, yo, dude. That's not happening. So here... I mean, I like Arsenal's suggestion of knight f6 at some point. It's like everything is just barely holding together here. It would give you time to play bishop d7. You have the threat of knight g4, exactly like we said. Knight h2. Something like bishop d7 with the threat of rook c8. f3, rook c8, and then like queen f2. Or maybe like rook e2 or rook a2 or just some move that like defends his bishop. Let's say this. I have no idea what's going on here. Black's better. So a4. You're making progress. He has to play queen f2 first. Okay. So this is playable for both sides. But I don't like the next move. Now you played bishop g7. I mean, do you really think you can play f5? That's not happening. Well, especially not after this move. Okay, whatever. h5. It's getting kind of scary now. King h2, rook h1, and you're pulverized. So I don't like bishop g7. Why did you do bishop g7? a4 is much better. Bishop g7 is slow. I mean, was the idea to like come over here or something to defend? Obviously it's reasonable but very passive. And I hate this. Knight f8 is super, super, super passive. You started going passive. I mean, you could go a4, right? You went to clear f8, but what does this really do? I mean, you're not even in trouble on g6. Your bigger problem, I think, is this. I think your biggest issue is like him playing king h2, rook h1, and trying to come down the h-file. He played this immediately. And then king f1, which is funny. Yeah, maybe it's better to play king h2 for white, as strange as that seems. Knight g6 wasn't silly. Knight g6 is never silly, Arsenal. It's not silly, it's just bad. Arsenal's having Sveshnikov flashbacks. Alright, let's see. Yeah, I mean, I think we started going downhill when we played bishop g7, knight f8. It's too passive. But king f1, I don't know, man. I'm not real big on putting the king on f1. I mean, what is this guy doing? He's trying to play king e2 and then attack you down the h-file. But can't you get at him here? I mean, I think his king is not completely safe on e2. Maybe it is, though. He has good control of the center, fundamentally. This is a nice try, a4, and then what? The what happened? Holy shit. Alright. So, he's gone for the pawn. He also eliminated the nasty knight. Material. Now he could take the pawn, but he loses a piece. So that's probably not a good idea. He does this. And yes. And now this. And your knight on f8 sucks. But these pieces, like, this is why you lost the game. You know, you were right about the bishop before. I mean, it was better on f8. You know, there it could have like come back. You know, it could have possibly come back in the game. I think ultimately, I played enough King's Indians to know. This knight f8 was a lemon. Bishop d7 here. Why can't he take? Am I missing something? Oh yeah, again, the tactic, duh. Alright. Knight O1, that's something like Dutch. Got the secret Dutch notation. Knight O1. Look out! That's the secret Dutch move. Damn, dude. Like, get those pieces back in the game. Like, my first move would be bishop f6. Yeah, Arsenal, I mean something, but g5 weakens our squares a lot. I feel like this is lower risk to improve the bishop first. I mean, you have bishop g5 and bishop sometimes back on this diagonal. The knight is like, please wait. We'll get to you when we can. Hold on the line and our first operator will get to you when they can. I'm still okay with this. The dark squares are collapsing. When Niels plays a3, he's better. Oh my god. He's actually better. Even with these crappy pieces. 2 crappy pieces. Wow. Niels, just don't try any tactics, okay? The first rule of Niels has to be just don't even try any tactics. Just outplay them strategically and let them, you know, let the fruit fall from the tree naturally. Don't try to force things. Wei was playing great and then started caving. But, you know, we do need to improve our bad pieces. The other option is h5. Okay, I mean, we can't just lose a pawn for nothing, obviously. But h5 looks like a damn good move. We do have to watch the knight d3. Wow. You lost this? Here. Check. Oh, this sucks. Yeah, I don't really want to trade the white square bishop. You have rook a8 here? I don't know that it does anything. It's a legal move. See, this is a very bad exchange. It's your good bishop for his bad bishop, plus he gains a tempo, attacking your queen. Just for fun, I thought this was interesting. Oh, rook b8. Ah, sorry. I've had real problems with my mouse today. My mouse control. I gotta speed up these analysis, by the way. We only have an hour and 15 minutes. Rook b8. Dude. See, I told him not to try any tactics. That's why he didn't play rook b8. He has rook a4, luckily. That was a close one. If rook b8, rook a4. Holding on. We have bishop takes d3 check. I don't like this bishop, dude. No, queen takes. Guarding the b1 square. Now rook b2 or something. But at the end of the day, it looks like my game with Robert Marcos or something. White will defend and then, like, you know, it's a question of whether this bishop is in the game. We're still, like, down 2 pieces. So Nils just sort of blindly went forward. I guess this isn't bad, though. Queen c2 seems okay. You're still pretty active. Does he have king g1? Is this guy ever going to play, like, king g1 or something sensible? Getting his king back to a safe place? Is there some reason he can't do that? I guess rook c3 here. Oops. Wow, rook c3 is a threat. Here. Taking away all your checks. Queen d2. Rook c4. Please, will you exchange with me? Rook a8. And then rook c1. Damn. Now rook a2. And rook d1. And then you gotta... Dude, gotta play queen a5. Can he force a trade of queens? We can't trade queens. We don't want to trade queens. Probably you're okay, but you gotta get your pieces in the game immediately. Knight d7. Maybe you're not okay. h5. Never offer a draw. h5. What? I'm getting all kinds of weird analysis here. Sorry, I have to refresh this. What the hell just happened? Why is Asturbate's game here? I'm in Asturbate's study? What am I doing? That's weird. h5 is the best move. Dude, actually it's the only move. Oh shit. The bad bishop. Bad pieces, bad pieces. Nils traded queens. He shouldn't trade queens. But h5 still gives him a fighting chance, it looks like. Gotta get the bishop in. Somehow. It's not just that, though. I mean, you also have h4 on his awkward knight. You're just barely hanging on, it looks like. You're still gonna have to do h5. But I don't know about this. Why don't you go knight c4 here? I mean, I guess you still don't have a clear threat, but I'm not gonna, like, you know, force him to get his knight to a better square. The other possibility is h5. Rook b2 looks like a waste of time. And now he did h5. But wasted vital time. Oh, it's a hanging rook? What? Oh, it's a hanging rook. Sorry. Alright, you didn't waste time. I'll let it go. I guess we should consider rook c1 check. I don't really want to let him off the hook, but he doesn't have a lot of great squares. So maybe that's a better option. Yeah, sorry, the rook was hanging. I'm an idiot. So rook b2, not a blunder, but And now you gotta get... And that sucks, man. Why can't you play king g8 here? I realize there are some problems, but... Can't you, like, still... Okay, it's looking bad. Knight f7. It's not good. But... No, I'm not convinced 100% that you're lost here. It's really close. But this is obviously kind of a disaster. Wow. Nice move. And you're losing the ending. Alright, man. I don't know. I mean, I think you underestimated how bad your pieces were. And even so, you had chances. But he wasn't a bad player. He played part of the game, parts of the game well. Better than some of those other players you faced. Alright, guys. Thanks, Nils. We gotta move on. Move 11 versus Ritson. Wait, where's Asterbait? Asterbait's leader. Damn, we gotta move faster. Alright, move 11. 11 minutes per game. Thanks, Nils. Ritalin. Oh, good. I'm trying to remember what this is even called. I played this once against Nasser Abbasi. I actually won with black. I think this is like the only game I ever won on the black side of the Roy Lopez with black in my life. Abbasi was really brutal against the Sicilian, and I was like, shit, what can I do? And I just like randomly played something I didn't know, which was this variation. I saw it in 500 Master Games of Chess. C3, and then I don't remember how my game went. I don't think I played B5 though. Tried to play like Bishop A7 or something. It must have been like this. That's a move apparently. But B5 transposes to like an Archangelsk variation. And now D6 is normal. So we've got like a standard position. This used to be popular. I haven't seen it a lot lately. Hikaru used to play it, Beliavsky famous for playing for black. I think it's an active choice for people who want to play the black side of the Roy Lopez. But technically the move order was a little unusual. So D4. And then A4, right. Yeah, what's with the Roy Lopez this week? So A4 is main line. I know there's like lines where you play like Knight A3 and stuff. But I imagine the White has other options. Yeah, this makes sense. Just supporting D4. Of course, Bishop G5 is possible. This has a bad score, though, against H6. This is bad. So what's the point? Like, Bishop F6, Queen F6, Bishop D5, Bishop D7. And there's just no way to exploit this pin. I imagine H3 is also, unless you're playing like Mamedyarov or something and they're going to do G5 on you. H3 is reasonable. That's what move 11 played. Yeah, I mean, this kind of makes sense though, honestly. You could like feign G5 like you're a psychopath and to be like, okay, what are you going to do? But castles looks more correct. I mean, normally they do put the bishop on B7 anyway. Rook e1. Just guarding the pawn is obviously possible. This is okay. So there's some variations where you like take on b6 or whatever, I guess. That structure comes up, and usually black's okay. But this is definitely like, yeah, I mean that's definitely like the normal move. It looks like bishop b7. This doesn't make as much sense now, I think. Caruana played that. So knight a5. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Knight a5. I don't know, man. This ain't the Chigorin. But he's got knight c4. Okay. Still, like, where is it going from c4? His bishop's on b6, not a7. Yeah, that's pretty strange. So I guess black's just gonna play c5 like it was a Chigorin, but e5's hanging. There's one game here by Rajaba with black. Where is that knight gonna go in the future? He's just gonna go back to a5. That's pretty weird. So Rajabov traded pawns here against a random player I don't know, and it looks like a strange move. I mean, I don't see a lot of upside to this move for black. You gave up your center. You're giving white the c3 square for his knight. You have hypermodern pressure on the center, but man, I don't... I mean, c5 is like the only plan for black. Here, white played b3. I'm not even sure that's necessary. I mean, the knight's not doing anything. It's not hurting anyone. And if white has to be clearly better here. The engine does like b3. Anyways. Yeah, I mean, I don't like the way the Rajabov plays this. I mean, black is definitely worse. So he clearly doesn't know it. But your opponent played like this other guy with bishop b7, which seems more fundamental. The thing is, like, e5 can drop later. Very logical. Play by both sides. Now he comes back. Uh-oh. So we're going to go with c4. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to play d5. You can play a waiting move, like bishop b2. Where is this knight going? To e7. Better than your average bear. Black's going to try to break out with c6, but white has c4 in time, so that's not that big a deal. You know, black might even like waste time with c6. Maybe he's better off not even doing it, or playing c5 and then bringing his bishop back here and trying to attack on the king side with like knight g6 or something. So I don't know. I don't know if I would play bishop b2 with white either. How are we going to handle the king side, move 11? I guess this is a fast game, right? 480 plus 5. $480. What's 8 times 60? Yeah, I never heard of a 480 plus 5 game. Obviously c4. The white seems better, but how are we going to deal with like knight coming there? I don't know that black should take on d5 necessarily. I mean, why release the tension? Why not play this for black? Okay, I admit my suggestion of c5 was a bit odd. That would block the bishop on b6. I'm not really seeing why, like, exchanging pawns on d5 benefits black. I mean, it's not like he's got a piece sack or something. Yeah, g3, no, g3 is important. But it's going to be weird because black has this diagonal here. But g3 might be an important idea. I mean, it feels like black... I don't understand what he's doing with his knight on e7. He could theoretically play for f5. I don't get b4, though. It's just a really strange move. I mean... Gives up c4. Feels like he should be playing for the king side. I don't even like that exchange, though, there. Stockfish says black is better. Yeah. Knight g6. Although, strangely, it wants to play a5 in some positions. a5. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty extreme. But it looks like black's better with knight g6. I don't know, black makes a lot of weird moves. Bishop c5, okay. That's not... It's going to get hit anyway by knight c4. Why not, like, at least make white play it? Now knight f1. Yeah. It's also possible to defend with the queen. But, alright. Black just doesn't like knight g6. Yeah. This is the Nils effect. When white's bad, light square bishop gets traded. That's not a good exchange for black. That's not good. He does have some counterplay here. Not much, though. That's rock solid knight c4. My impression was that, like, black should have played for king side. Instead, he was obsessed with playing for queen side. Oh my god. And then it would be like a miracle if black can make a blockade here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Why are we retreating? We have to. That's awkward. Probably white has something better. Probably there's time pressure. That was decisive. Oh, knight g6 now. Of course. Now it's really strong. We have lots of places to go. You know, timing of this is perfect. It just sat on e7 and then hopelessly flung itself into g6 when it was too late. Yeah. Nice move, king f3. Robert Marcus would be proud. Reminds me of a game I played a couple of months ago. And now, getting aggressive on the king side. Honestly, I like the knight where it is. Now he went back. It is a little hard to break through here. So he's got him. King did quite the journeying in this game. Alright, good game. But opening a little sketch. We've got Baba Yaga versus Miro. Guys, I've got an hour left. We've got an hour left. Miro, Ars, Asterbait, Skinner, Jim, and maybe Nefedov if we have time. Or if there's a bribe involved. We're analyzing only serious chess games here. Except for Asterbait. Okay, hey, it's Miro's Black. E4, E5. Another Roy... It's the Roy Lopez day. Welcome to Roy Lopez day. A6, bishop A4, knight F6, D3. Okay, anti-whatever. Anti-martial. Yeah, I mean d3 is pretty wimpy, but it's popular. Speaking of the Archangels, you could go with that. He beat me too? Oh, the same guy? Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Jetta Piano so much. I'm glad to see some Roy Lopez games. Very few games here. What's up? Wow, C3 is really, really rare. I mean, is this where they do like early A4 and these bizarre sort of like bishop D2 moves? So castles, D6. The weight with the C3 with white. But A4. Say like A4, B4. Yeah, A4 a little more common. So C3, I don't think that can be that bad though. Is there a problem with C3? Are you gonna turn it into a martial? There's D5 like anyway. I mean, whenever white plays C3, he softens up his light squares a bit, so that's why the martial sort of works. But in this case, well, it's not like your bishop isn't even on B7 yet. I mean, it's basically like a martial, but you're not sacrificing the pawn. I mean, does that transpose to a martial declined? So if he plays knight on BD2, we basically transpose to like the passive martial declined for white. So instead, he just like takes on D5, and it's like a Joko, where white might potentially have some pressure here. It's kind of amazing how really there's like no games at all from a totally reasonable position. White doesn't play rook e1 though. Yeah, that's interesting. If he plays rook e1, this is a possibility. You know, maybe a3 is a good move. They're gonna do black won all 3 games after rook e1, bishop g4. Wow. So h3 is actually a really heads-up move by white. Interesting. And I've been talking about this idea like all week with people about, you know, if the e4 strong point is conquered, a lot of times you see it in the Sicilian, but more rarely in things like the Philidor, where this bishop can conquer that whole diagonal. You really have to be patient, though. You know, I mean, it might be 15, 20 moves from now when this bishop will really make its presence felt if you put it on b7. You know, so it's not a no-brainer. I mean, I would think like you could consider other options. What if you played, for example, rook e8, rook e8, rook e1, you know, bishop f8 or something? This is going to be a problem. But I'm not convinced, honestly. Maybe d4. This will help you in terms of maybe defending the d5. But what about the e5 pawn? Now white just randomly played a4. I mean, it seems like a weird moment to play a4 here. Yeah, black played d5 early, but it's justified. But this is a weird moment for a4. Why doesn't he attack the e5 pawn? Oh shit, we're transposing back in some kind of theory. Wow. This is very interesting. Queen d7. I wouldn't have found that. Topolov Leko. a lot of games, high-level games, black has a very good score. So it's not necessary to actually defend the pawn. But I think this is a weird choice, man. I'm not surprised there's no games with a4. I mean, I don't think it really threatens anything. So you don't actually have to react. You can play b4, you can play rook b8, you can play whatever. But he's not putting pressure on the center. What's he going to do? Like, take on b5 and play knight a3? Ooh, scary, you know? Like, what does a4 even do? I mean, you're totally, like, you're super defended on a8. This is a weird move. I mean, and Mira reacted with b4, but I would tend to think, like, we would want to go about other business. Yeah, I mean, knight a5 is definitely a possibility arsenal. But I'm not sure where the follow-up is. Obviously, there are a lot of variations where you can sacrifice your pawn. That's like the main line. Apparently, bishop b7, rook e1, queen d7, and white takes the pawn on e5. Black has a lot of compensation. Very much like a Marshall. So you go b4, okay. I guess it shuts down his rook. But you do give him a square here. Yeah, he should probably refrain from playing. I assume this is a bad move, dude. That doesn't look right. Yeah. That, master, is an anti-positional move. Clearly white cannot do that here. We don't do that. Like rook e1. Tipsay versus RB Ramesh, 2006. You won't find this move in the database. So we don't want to play like a Philidor. This would be a blunder. Bishop takes, pawn takes, and d4. Or would it? Or would it? I mean, even this is conceivable. Wow. But he has other things like maybe d4, undermining the knight. Alright. So the only other question is here, here, here. But honestly, knight f6 seems right. You know, you've got this. It seems like the right square. He's got to put pressure on your pawn. This is horrible. Horror. I mean, dude, like, rook e1 or... I know that the position is bad. It might be too late. I mean, you're already all over him with, like, bishop c5. This is sick. I can't watch. Bishop c2, my god. Ugh. You play b3 just for kicks in this position. Hey, nice bishop. But now Hayes going to play knight d4. I mean, I'm sure this move is okay, but I doubt it's like optimal. You want to double down your control in the position with an iron fist. Bishop c5 gotta be a good move. God, dude, you're a sick puppy, Arsenal fan. You're such a sick puppy. He's angling to like trap his bishop with knight a5. This is the center. You're abandoning the center. For tactics, knight a5. Arsenal's calculations is that wins a pawn. That's a weird way to win a pawn. You are threatening to win. You're threatening to like destroy his position strategically. More likely. No, I mean 95's logical but not forced. He can play this, for example. Assume nothing. I mean, it's an interesting move. It really is. But I'm not fully convinced. Knight d4 is okay, but I think it trades pieces. So I'd rather not. I'd rather just build, without... Let's see what the engine says. It likes knight d4, damn. This is interesting, wow. Knight d7. That's a building move. What about bishop c5? It's no good. Doesn't like it as much. I'm gonna get hit. Alright. Well, anyway, philosophically, I'd like to not trade pieces here. It does open up, though. You got to admit it opens up the long diagonal. So knight d4 and then e d4. Burial services will begin at 10:30 p.m. for the light square bishop. RSVP. Yeah. I was expecting queen takes. But bishop e3's... Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, this looks good, honestly. This is hanging. You got queen h4. I still vote for queen d4. Probably hates me will look at this, which is maybe white's best chance. Queen d4 is a better move, I think. He has huge space advantage, but... Ooh. That bishop on c2 is horrifying. Thank you for not trading. Oh shit. The epic f3 has been found. I can share the study, sure. Just promise not to let me forget. Knight g6, rook e4. This is a nice game. Alright. Here. This is kind of a tough one. I'm not in love with the symmetrical pawn structure. Another reason why taking the queen on d4 would have been better. You're still clearly better here. Now you need some sort of tactic. Don't you have like bishop e3 check? It's unlike... It would be unlike our hero, Hayasmiro. Ooh, that rhymes. Hayasmiro is the hero. Unlike you to miss a tactic. Knight takes e3, knight f4. Wait, that's bishop g3 now. Knight takes e2 check, rook takes e2, queen takes. And we won the exchange. I think this works. It's unlike him to miss a tactic. But that bishop on e4 is pretty sick, dude. But I don't like this. Can't we just kill him on the long diagonal? Maybe we can bring the bishop back and go here. I guess white's still... Yeah, he's got to be lost. I think just go back. And this diagonal is fatal. Got to be fatal. This is kind of weird, like the self-pin. I don't like that. f4, queen c6, rook e4. What happened here? No, D-Jock, you sent the wrong game. So we're down a rook for 2 pieces. Oh my god. You're kidding me, right? You sent the game we analyzed last week, man. We already analyzed it last week. You've been banned from the stream. Well, it's not think. Like, I definitely analyzed the game. I remember clearly. Dude, we totally went over the game. You were drunk and you were passed out. Did he trick us? I don't know. I don't see it in the list from last week. Last week was Schumacher versus Mailugag. Dude, I know I analyzed it. I know I analyzed it. But maybe just live? Thanks, Miro. Anyway, sorry, Bijak just interrupted and disturbed the whole situation here. This is lost, though. It was a tragic loss for Hayes Miro. It all fell apart because of time pressure. Alright, Schumacher versus Excel Poker. I don't understand how I've seen this game. How I analyzed this game already. Excel Poker tricked us? Was it 2 weeks ago? When was this game played? From 307. So it couldn't have been from 2 weeks ago. It was from a tournament. I thought we analyzed this. That's weird. We talked about it. So Excel Poker played Bishop D6? Yeah, this is a very strange thing he did. So you're white. He plays C6. How did this move order go? Normal Queen's Gambit. Black played C6. See, that's not a normal semi-Slav, and it's not a normal Queen's Gambit either. And it's not, clear what it is. You hung a pawn with Queen C2. Well, it's sacrifice. Queen C2 is a sacrifice. It's not clear, dude. It's better for black, apparently. Okay, you hung a pawn. You're supposed to play E3. It's a sacrifice. You swindled him. But this move is definitely weird. Bishop D6 is very weird. The problem is it's not exactly Cambridge Springs. You did this against me too. This is a strange thing to do. I mean, Queen E7 with the bishop on G5. Highly unusual. Maybe exchanging is a good move. But it is possible you can get out of the pin by putting his queen on E6 or something. Amazingly, there's a game here. Tibor Yasenski's a Hungarian Serb player. Bishop D3, H6, Bishop H4. Yeah, this is weird. Carlos Stromboli. I'm hungry. Knight B6. sometimes Excel Poker has a tendency to get a little too creative. Like the game he played Bishop d6 with his king in the middle against me from 2 weeks ago. Castles, Bishop g4. Yeah, I remember, like, I guess we just watched the game live, and that's why I thought I analyzed it. We watched the game live, or we went over it after you played it live. We saw this, and I was talking about it. It must have just been that we were talking about it while it was being played live. Yeah. So e4. Right. What about f3? Probably not good, because you have bishop takes g3. e4 looked good, but I wasn't sure. So this is coming up to the critical position. Pawn takes, knight takes, and then bishop f4. But what about Excel Poker playing this differently? Like, what if he takes on e4 or plays bishop takes g3? This is the critical moment where, you know, okay, he played in a reckless way. It's very dangerous, but this is like way too slow. So this is his last chance to play something sensible. I mean, you either take or you play bishop takes g3. I mean, I thought bishop takes g3, knight takes f6 check, queen f6, and then you have a check. I guess black plays like king f8 or bishop e6. And it's not that clear, I guess. Maybe we even have weird moves like d5, I don't know. White has an initiative, but black's okay, you know, not clearly like totally lost. Actually, the engine actually likes black better here. Wow. So, you've got to be accurate. The computer doesn't like this move. Bishop d6 to g3 or knight takes knight. What about knight takes knight? This is okay. It's also only slightly better for white. I thought he was going to castle queenside. Like this. I mean, this is totally rational. Of course the black king is completely safe. The engine gives like d5. But this was crazy what he did. He played bishop f4. And now... bishop f4. And now rook e1. Is there still a chance to play king f8? Not really. Okay. Now we have knight takes g5. So we castle queenside, and the attack is just too strong. I wasn't sure about this move, but I think it is. Knight takes g5, you know, disconnects the bishop, so he has to play queen c7 or something. There's obviously, like, this is a disaster. You don't have to sack the queen, do you? Couldn't you play, like, queen c7 here? But he's just losing material. I mean, I guess it's just bishop f4, queen f4, and knight takes f7. So, that's why he sacked his queen. Queen takes, rook takes, bishop takes g5. But this is beautiful. I was looking at knight b5 right away. But I guess there's nothing wrong with this. If you take, you lose a piece on g5. So he has to just do that. And then knight b5. And that's a really nice mate on a7. But, you know, Excel Poker obviously didn't want to see this game. It was his reckless mode. Obviously he used time, but he used time, you know, probably after he got a bad position. Okay, we got that in. Now, next game. Arse. Okay, guys, we have half an hour, so it's like 10 minutes. 10 minutes per game from here on out. We are time limited to 10 minutes analysis per game. I've got Arse, Astrobate, Mule Skinner, and Jim and Nefdov. It's 50 minutes. It's an end game. Only Arceus. He gets the bang for his buck. 67 moves in 10 minutes. You get more, you get more moves analyzed in 10 minutes. It's hard for me to pace myself when I do these analysis streams. Bishop G4, what are you, black here? You like playing Bishop G4. I assumed you're white. Assume nothing. Oh wow, it was a Berlin. Nice. Well, that's a change of pace, at least. Arsenal's played the Berlin pretty well, in my experience. I mean, obviously you should consider playing the richer anti-Berlin, but you accept the challenge with knight takes c4. But black played d6, so going into what's called the improved Steinitz defense. I don't think it's really improved for what it's worth. Why would it be? What about d4? d4 is cracky crab. Fundamental. I say d4. You say d4, I say d-nage. Day-nage. But rook e1. Can anything possibly be wrong with rook e1? Are you... No. Rook e1 has to be okay. There's this move, right? That's what he did. The only weird move that's possible here. But that's fine. Now he's just playing a weird bishop g4 Steinitz. c3, exactly. I mean, this... It could also transpose to one of those stupid bishop g4 Morphe defenses. You just play like d3. So he played bishop e7. Jan Timman against Timo. Wow. It's an FM from Germany. I used to know in my previous life. Not too well, but remember we met at Hastings and we're drinking. I used to play Blitz on ICC. Tempest Fugit, or something like that was his name. Okay, bishop e7, d4. Yeah, I mean d4 makes the most sense to challenge the center. You don't have to, though. It's definitely interesting to consider something like quieter approach. I'd be a little careful about h3, though. You might get a Mamedyarov, where somebody's trying to get you with like g5 or something crazy. I doubt it's sound, though. But you played what? You just did d4 right away. Okay, that's ballsy. Yeah, that's a good move. Yeah, that's right. So what? Castles? And then it's like positional destruction. Well, this didn't happen in the other game. Oh, okay. Yeah. What he did here is very, very logical. I'm surprised there's only one game here. This appears to be logical and playable for black. How can there be just one game? And Timman played the quiet bishop e2. Unbelievable. And now black played bishop takes f3. What? Oh, he's just trying to trade pieces. He was trying to trade pieces and get a draw with very straightforward play against Timman there. Interesting. Yeah, this is a very modest approach by Timman. Kind of surprising, honestly. In '99, Timman was still extremely strong. So castles is probably much weaker than knight d7. Wow, you seriously... Mamedov had the same position against the 1900. Yeah, I'm definitely taking here. So what's the deal? He could take here? That's not good. I mean, bishop takes, queen takes, pawn takes, and boring but like horrible for black would be the description of this position. You just like clock into the office, grind him for 40 moves, clock out, go home. Next. Yeah, not exciting, but it's just very good for white. Is there another option for black though? Like if you take on c6, he takes back. You take on e5. He takes here. You're winning a pawn, right? Does he have an out? Queen takes, rook takes, knight takes e5. You know, there's no bullshit here. I mean, he can't do knight takes e4. His bishop's hanging. No. His bishop's hanging. He has to do bishop takes f3. I mean, this is just really good for you. I mean, it's definitely not like the fun game to play, but, you know. Who is Nid Mamedov? That's the normal Mamedov, right? Mamedov sounds like a dinosaur. It's a kind of dinosaur. Seriously. We found a Mamedov skeleton. A Mamedov skeleton was revealed. So what you did now is no. This is a no. H3 would be provocative, but d5 is like, ew, you're gonna do this? Alright. Knight b8. Now I guess if you insist on playing it like this, like a queen pawn game, a Slagiesaurus, of course. What's the difference between a saurus and a sore, by the way? Maybe we go like Timon style with bishop e2. No, that drops a pawn. Okay, what about c4? There's always c4. You could do this. Coming back over here. Speaking of arses. Alright. So you let him crack your center. I like that for black though. Now the moment of truth. Major decision point here for black. B takes must be considered. I don't know. It becomes a Sicilian after knight takes c6. I don't know, man. I mean, this is way more dynamic to take with the pawn, but I'm not saying it's clear that black is equalized. It would remain complicated, but I like having control of d5. This is like, yeah, you're just slightly better. Now he goes back to e6, and you're not going after his bishop with knight g5. It's too artificial. Okay. h3 is constructive. This is a sensible move. This looks good, but doesn't do anything. Maybe it does something. I don't know. Does it do something? I'm not really thinking it does anything. Another like 7-0. What's with the football games, you know, that are like 7-0, 7-1. Every game that like Manchester plays is like they're winning or losing by 7 goals. Is it baseball or what? Knight f1. It's a baseball score. British baseball. They were doing pretty well in the what's it called? The like World Baseball Cup or whatever. Knight f1. I gotta hurry this along. There's no d5. Yeah, it's a Sicilian. You're used to playing the c3 Sicilian, so the structure is, I saw you beat Asterbate in the c3 Sicilian. The structure is familiar. Queen e2, actually, it's a theme today. Marazzi. And are you feeling Marazzi? This would certainly be an interesting move, if you're so inclined. If a6, bishop a4, I guess this could get a little awkward. You might have to play, yeah, you'd have to play some really weird shit here. You'd probably have to take, honestly. You'd have to take and then like just defend your pawn. Actually, this is probably decent for white. I mean, it would all hinge on like d5 and whether or not that's the thing. Probably not. Yeah. Yeah, pretty weird. Okay, you have in-between moves. c4 is interesting. You played this, though. That's fine. And now knight g5. Alright. Now that's a much different story. If I retreat the bishop back, we have a problem with f7. Tell me it's not so. Queen c4. It's like the Philidor. Oof. You're threatening bishop takes a7. Bishop takes a7. Here. Ha. Ha. Does it work? Bishop takes a7, h6. It's a funny variation. And then black has bishop e6, so be careful. Shit, I think we lose a piece here. Oh no. Knight f3, bishop e6. Queen a4, and then rook a8. Poor Arsenal. See, that's why you shouldn't listen to me. You just end up like losing a piece here. So bishop c4, rook f8. Or does he have it? The fried liver with d5. That looks kind of dangerous. I'm thinking the fried liver is pretty tasty right about now. That's a nasty fried liver you got there. Yeah, this is over, dude. This has got to be over. He takes f7. Jeez. Yeah, that's not viable. You can't get in d5. Alright, so he's got to let you take it. h6 is weakening. So, okay, queen c8 makes sense. Take. Please. He's not big on taking with pawns, is he? This guy is just not big on pawn captures. He refused to take with the pawn on c6, and now he doesn't take with the pawn on e6. It's true, like, pawn moves create weaknesses, but I don't know, man. Controlling these squares, to me, it seems like it's maybe better in the long run. So bishop c4 is just didn't turn you on. You like this better? Better. Bishop f8. Wow. He doesn't like bishops. Now you played bishop c4. Wow, we're combining now. Oh my god. And you get an endgame? Dude, this is like game over. Knight h6 check? There's no way black should make it to an endgame here. This should be signed, sealed, and delivered. Yours truly, Arsenal. Bishop takes f7. And I say bishop takes f7. Rook f8, only move, realistically. And just like bishop d5, knight d5, pawn d5. I mean, okay, it's a process, but you should win. So that's another approach. I guess this is crushing as well. Is there something you missed? Knight f7, d5? How did black survive like 70 moves from this position? I mean, there's no freaking way. There's no way that black should survive to like move 70, and I should be doing this. I mean, it's like, you're totally winning here. You were playing for the clock. There he was guilty. He was caught guilty trying to flag his opponent again in an increment game. So if knight d8, pawn takes c4, and your knight just trades itself on c6. Very good. That's the game. We have to look at other moves for a sec, but I mean, honestly, theory is knight takes d5. This is worth considering. Pawn takes d5. He can't save the exchange. If he takes here, or does he? He saves the exchange? Oh shit. Alright. Yeah, that's not good. You gotta take. You gotta take, he takes, you gotta take, he takes. And then it's like a grind me down. I'm down the exchange and a pawn. And my e5 is weak. Yeah, f3 is unfortunate. Maybe it's a mistake. The golden rule when you're up material is to trade down. So the first thing you should look at is probably this. Bishop g5. I don't mind, trading. So you force an exchange of pieces with this move. He can't do knight e4, you just snap. So after bishop g5, you're going to force an exchange. You're also winning control of d5. It's much simpler, and you have another hour to eat, dinner before the next round. That's the most important reason to win, quickly. You can have a nice leisurely pie before the next round. Alright, yeah, f3, unfortunately, lets him keep pieces on the board. The Kizaritsky brothers. Now you had to trade it anyway. But anyway, be careful. Yeah, still this should be a pretty easy win. No reason for this to last 70 moves. I wonder if king f1 was risky. Probably not. So is Arsenal, you saw some ghosts here? Just remember, trading down. I gotta go, guys. We're not gonna be able to take any more analysis games. Sorry. Bonjour. Unfortunately, I can't accept additional games at this time. Next week. Rook d1. b4 has a problem. Arsenal he's a tactical, buzzsaw. But I guess b4 walks into queen a4, unfortunately. It doesn't win a piece. I mean, black is in a terrible position, but he has this weird move, queen a4, and he doesn't have to lose immediately. But b4 is probably a good move. Now Arsenal decides to trade down. Thank you, Asterbait. You guys feel free to submit a game for next week as early as today. We only have time to do 10 games per week. So I have to stop there. Yeah, Arsenal didn't pick the optimal time probably, to trade. We likely have a guaranteed trade of queens here, I hope, but apparently not. You are on the rook though. I still I gotta go back to that other point, Arsenal, where you played king f1. Your king is safe on a white square. You could have gone to h1, and it's a tough call because it could be a situation where your king wants to come to the active play, but you're up so much material in that position. You know, it's easy to say, I told you so, but maybe the king would have been better on h1. No checks. This is still over. Oh my god. He has a way to hold on here. Are you freaking kidding me? What? Oh my god, you played that? You don't have a choice. I mean, you can play queen d4, right? But oh my god. Wait a minute. e1. We have to calculate e1. Queen g1 check. Obviously king d2. Queen e3 check. King c2. You'd have to like go out. It's pretty funny. You have to go out here to escape the checks or bring your rook back. So it's not so easy. Arsenal must have thought he was like easily winning and slightly misjudged this, how easy it was. Now he drops the v2 pawn with check. Shit. On this check, another like major effect happened here. Imagine if Arsenal had played king e1 instead of king f2. Again, if you see the future, if you can see the future. Anticipating the future. There's going to be like no answer to rook d7 now. There's like nothing he can do. So he's probably rushing. Now this is a problem. Now like we gotta win the game again. Unbelievable. Holy shit. Mate! No. Yeah, it's funny that there's no clear crushing win here. You're 2 pawns up. This is a really interesting point though. You're gonna sacrifice the g2 and go active. You could go back. Man, I don't know, man. Maybe you did the right thing. I mean, here you have 2 passers, but he's gonna have some counterplay. Your king goes to e4. That's a tough call. I mean, it's definitely safer to play king f1, but I don't know it's so easy to win at all. So a4 is good, but your rook is in a bad position. You know, you want your rook on the side of the pawn. You probably have to play a4 though. Or you could also play e5 first, but then it gets a little messy. I would assume e5 is probably strong. His king is going to have to get closer. I can't take any challenges now, guys. We're just wrapping up the last games. This is really cutting it close. Damn. Do we have e6 now? You have e6, don't you? Oh, you have a check. Shit. There's check here. Have you analyzed this with the engine? I mean, is this even a win for white? Man, I don't know. I had a very similar game in the World Senior where I like won a drawn position. My opponent like flagged because he thought there was a third time control. It's really sick. Very similar ending. I have bad news. There is no third time control. Do you have takes and king f7 here? You have it, don't you? Takes, king f7. That you should find. You know, I mean, it's very forcing. It's a forced mate with queen g8, queen g6. That's your only really bad mistake, in my opinion. That one you should see. It's a forced line. So this is like a mess. Jeez. This is the game? Oh my god. Wow. So what the heck is going on here? This is a draw. Wow. This is a draw, but you know, the problem is black, it looks like it's trying to win. My impression when you play rook h4 is that you're trying to win. Could have played like rook f4 check and then just brought his king back. Jesus. He's like trying to win now, it looks like. King g6. I guess not realistically. Realistically, it's just a mistake. You know, this is a sensible move. Cut you off. You probably have to take here, and then he simply walks back, and he's going to draw. You can't cut him off. So it wasn't really a case of trying to win. He just didn't know what to do. This is still a draw. Wow. Wow. That's crazy, dude. Rook takes. We have rook takes. Oh shit, he has rook takes and he didn't play it. Oh my god. He just has to give up the rook and then convert to queening his own pawn. He played check and he just loses. Yeah, I mean, it had to be time pressure. Yeah, it looks like your king's too far away, but it's not. You know, you have to check him. And then he just gets up in time. Yeah, it's a draw. Alright, Arsenal. Interesting game. Acerbate versus Demonchuk. Demonchuk. Knight c3, knight f6. Alright, we've got the Vienna game, the Vienna Gambit. Overall, good game by Arsenal, yeah, but you know, he has a tendency to get excited when he's winning. He really needs to work on that. So this weird variation, you know, this is supposed to be like a terrible blunder for black, but strangely this isn't that bad for black. You know, it's surprising, like getting your knight kicked back like the Brooklyn variation of the Al-Yakin. It's actually defensible. But black has to attack e5 immediately. So I think we've analyzed this with Acerbate. And this is the point. You know, by the way, like, yeah, it's clear. Like, you have to undermine the pawn on e5 immediately. d6. That's the only way, you know, for black to clearly get a decent position here. This is the key. Undermine center. We looked at stuff here. I mean, this is interesting. Like d4, pawn takes pawn. White can play some crazy shit now. I guess white could go completely insane with maybe like bishop c4 or something. Look at this line. Double pawn sack. King's Gambit. Real easy for black to get destroyed. Super fast. This is sharp. Or you actually have queen e2, threatening bishop takes. How about this? Wow, better for white. Do you remember, Acerbate, we looked at this a long time ago? Long time ago. But anyway, he didn't find d6. So black played knight c6, d4. Still, obviously, d6 is the only chance. Now white has more options, like maybe bishop b5. So after d4, g5. That's a good idea, but it's probably too slow. This is too Speaking of dominant, the e5 pawn is too dominant here. Yeah, Acer plays perfect move. h4 is almost lights out. That's the key. He can't maintain it, and you're going into g5. This is really, really, really good for white. I mean, I think black pretty much has to play g4. And you can even play it like a king's gambit. You could play, for example, maybe bishop c4, pawn takes f3, queen takes f3, knight takes d4, queen takes f4. Maybe that doesn't work. I don't know. Okay, maybe this is a little bit too much. But we're close. But I think knight g5 is just really strong. It's probably good enough. But I mean, this move is just resigning. You can't play f6, man. Apparently this is sound. g4 is sound. Wow. I'm not going to play knight g1. It looks slow, dude. I can't believe I have to play knight g1. I don't want to play knight g1. What about knight g5? Yeah, see? If you make the engine play it, now it thinks white is better. I had to, force it. Depth 19. Depth 19? Black is equal after d5. So d5 traps the knight. d5 traps the knight. So it's a knight sack. It had to calculate 22 moves deep. This knight sack here. And white is equal. It's equal. Or a tiny bit better for white. Very, very sharp. Okay, knight g1 is a lot safer. Playing it like a king's gambit with knight g1. This can't transpose though. I mean, black played knight f6, knight g8. It's not a king's gambit. But he played g5, h4, f6, which is resigning. Wow. And that's the best move, right? Knight takes g5. Well, f6 didn't work out so well. His best move now is h5. Probably contacting a voodoo priest would objectively be black's best chance in this position. No, it's over. This is funny. Check. Knight takes h7. Dude. I can't believe you played bishop takes f4. It's so anticlimactic. Acerbate's just calmly developing. Wow. Look at the massive attack. What a move. Knight d5. How does that work? Winning the queen. He has to sack his queen. Very nice, knight d5, man. This is one of your best games ever. Black played weakly. Yeah. I mean, black played really weakly, but I like this knight d5. His best move is sack his queen. I mean, he's obviously totally lost. But it's still nice. And this is just brutal. So now the other bishop's coming in. No, Acerbate's extremely dangerous when he gets coordinated. If you give him coordination and development, he's gonna destroy people. But he usually does crazy stuff early and messes up. Yeah, this is a beautiful, beautiful game. Black was just too passive. So he finds the mate. Always mate with the lowest form of life. But it's not mate. This is mate in 2. So you had to do the queen h6 for mate in 1. Alright. Mule Skinner is up next. Jim and Neffy. I'm running out of time. Alright, Mule Skinner with a thematic French game for something new and totally different. Yul Skinner game, guys. I gotta leave in like 15, 20 minutes. But Yul Skinner game, I gotta check what color he was. He's white against Elias. All right. You never know with Yul Skinner in the French what color he could be. Why am I not synced again? Okay, Yul Skinner syncing. Why am I not synced? Somebody's like messing me up. Yul Skinner white, Tarash French. Oh, goody. Mr. Coffee's favorite, the Rubinstein. Yeah, this sucks for black, honestly. Really hard to play, man. You gotta really like celebrate when you're an E4 player and they play the French and then they play the. I mean, you should have like a party when black plays this move objectively. Some people find it frustrating, but I mean, I think like you gotta celebrate. That's like, yes. I would play E4 every day, all day long if my opponents promised to give up the center. And now knight f6, this is a rare variation. Rockport is the only one who plays that. And you have to take, otherwise there's no questions. Yeah, so this is interesting here. Shockingly, black has a better score with g takes f than with queen takes, but it looks like, you know, kind of dubious structurally. To be honest, like Rubinstein played this way in the Byrne variation. There are dynamic elements of g takes f with the pawn structure, but you know, unlike the Byrne variation, white isn't giving up his dark square bishop to create the structure. That's a huge difference. So queen takes I think objectively more correct. Now knight f3. We saw a game like in this variation a while back. Engine likes queen d8. There you're basically playing like a queen d8 Scandinavian in a way. But h6, you know, avoiding bishop g5 traps, bishop d3, and this is Yul Skinner. He knows quite a bit. Good player. Now black plays bishop d6. So I mean, bishop d6, okay, fine, but this reminds me of some game where you did Polgar crush someone with like h4. But it couldn't be this type of position. Oh, it was similar. It was like Polgar Berkesh 2000 something, and she like killed him with h4 at some point. But white would have to be castled queenside for that to work. Black's committing. Yeah, black commits to castling kingside. I don't think white necessarily has to castle here. I like this better. You should definitely leverage like the ability to castle queenside and annihilate black here. Queen e2 is not just because the engine wants to play it. I mean, I would definitely play this move. You have possibilities of g4. Gligorich played games like that with early like pawn sack. This isn't even a sack. I mean, we could just go g4, g5. I think you got to play queen e2 here, even if you don't intend on castling queenside. You want to keep the opponent guessing. Yeah, Yul Skinner played, you know, too passively. It looks like a Kali system. It's still good for white, but it's like on the passive side. After this move, quite a passive move here. My friend Sebi Attila has a game. He probably did queen e2. Yeah. I mean, queen e2, b6, queen e4, you know, game over, mate, and rook, right? That's a classic trap. But black will play like c5, I would assume. Does this not work? Wow, it's still strong. Okay, yeah. Black's in a really dangerous position here. So even this is good. You know, it's like Korchnoi. Korchnoi had a game with black against Sarawan in a similar position where I don't know. It was something quite similar to this, and he had to do like queen f5 or rook d8 or something, and allow the queen into h7. Yeah, so let's say like rook d8, queen e4, you know, king f8, and we could try to like run away if the queen goes here, or king hides on e7. But I mean, black needs to destroy white's center. c3 is really slow. This is super slow. This is very routine, but good. Black needs to break. I mean, e5, dude. Or c5. Why not c5? At this point. Now he's got knight f8 to cover the h7. So can we play c5? And I guess the question is, like, why would we not play c5 with black? White's still better, but black should at least try something active. Now knight e5. But I think the threat is stronger than the execution. But again, we played this kind of slowly. What about interesting move here, bishop e3? It's probably too slow. Black has b6 and trying to bring the bishop to b7. So here, yeah, well, black doesn't have a great answer except for c5, but c5 is pretty strong. We have this. Oh shit. Knight g4 and rook e3. This looks like a good move. Black's too slow. Wow. This might be winning by force. But I would need to calculate. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a forced win for white. But it would require very careful calculation. Let's see. No. No, it's unclear. Of course, I didn't let the engine go deep, but it's real close. This must be a problem. No, there I have rook h3, right? I don't get it. How does black defend this? Queen e7. I can't believe there's nothing for white here. It's crazy. Tal. We need Mikhail Tal. Knight h6 just doesn't work. Holy shit. Tal sacrifices knight and then it's a draw. Alright, good call. So he didn't panic, just recaptured, and then b6. And then we're just like winning. Rook f7, bishop e5. You can also play g3, but it's no need to weaken ourselves. It's totally winning for white. Yeah, man, I mean, just further evidence for why the Rubinstein variation sucks for black. I'm actually, like, sort of disappointed that it's even called the Rubinstein variation. I mean, to be fair, I think that Rubinstein, you know, preferred, like, the Byrne variation, which is totally better. Knight takes h6 where? Oh, now? Now. Yeah. I mean, this is winning, but you're only like +2. Now knight h6. I mean, I was trying to do that 10 moves ago, or 6 moves ago. Of course it's a possibility. Knight h6, pawn h6, queen g4 check. It looks really strong. You have rook f6 coming. Not queen g4 check though, because of queen g7. It has to be a different move. Queen g4, queen g7. There has to be rook g4 then. King h8. And then there must be just bishop takes h6. Yeah, just simple. Yeah, I don't know how your time is, man. But if you have enough time, then you should find it. Personally, I use too much time in the openings because I play stupid openings that I don't know well enough. And then I end up not having enough time when I need it. You know, this is why it's important to be prepared with the openings so you can reel off the moves quickly. Rook h4. Hello? Is anybody home? Do you have rook f6 here? No, sorry, I'm hallucinating. Man, you're so close to a tactic. I don't like rook f3 though. Just not fast enough, rook h4. I feel like you have something here. I want to play rook h4, but probably you can't force a win. This doesn't feel right. Wow. Dark squares. Dark squares. Anyone. Neil Skinner has no luck, you know. Once in a while, you gotta get some luck, man. Your luck is like my luck. Black's consolidating. I mean, he's still down a pawn. They never just, like, blunder the game against you. It's unbelievable. Wow, that's a nice move. I suggest keeping this diagonal blockaded, but black also can't deal with bishop e3. So it's rather hard for black to blockade the threat of d5, which is, like, fatal. That is a nasty move. He found a way to try it, though. He's going to blockade with this. These kids get bad positions, and then all of a sudden, they're like master defenders because they have a bad position every game. I still say d5. Oh, take and then d5. Alright, d5. d5, automatically. I'm not even calculating. I don't care. You have the pawn. Blip. d5. Automatic. We're all like too clingy with the material, you know. This is game over. You have perfect position. Okay, king h7. It's not literally game over, but you gotta play d5. You gotta play d5. It has to be good. Queen d4. Bishop versus rook. Bishop versus rook is a draw, but it's, for beginners, a little tricky. Bishop and rook versus what? Versus rook? Bishop and rook? Bishop and rook versus rook? Oh, yeah, that's pretty easy. The black can still put up a fight here, but I still think you should play d5. What's the engine say? Oh, d5. Yeah, d5, king h7. I mean, he's like hanging on by his fingernails, like Indiana Jones on the edge of the cliff here. Neil Skinner, you gotta play for dynamics and ops color bishops. Alright, so queen e2. And don't let him blockade. You still have d5. This is awkward. This is really awkward. I don't think the queenside pawns really matter too much. So we're doing it the hard way. Alright. Black has to try to trade pieces here. Wait, what? Don't you have rook f6? Rook f6. Okay, guys, I gotta go. Now it's getting kind of drawish in here. White has chances upon opposite color bishops, but trade the rooks and it's a draw in most cases. I don't understand what just happened there. Like white played for a win. Okay. Then he like blundered a pawn, so it's time pressure. Now he's got rook h6 mate and hung a piece. Oh my god, it's a disaster. I wish I had $1 for every game that Mule Skinner hasn't won. He offered a draw here? What? Like in the winning position now? He offered a draw here? Draw. Done. Oh, at the repetition. Yeah, you probably should take it at that point. It's hard to be objective when you're winning like the whole game. Jim is up next. I'm just going to go over these last games quickly. I gotta go. It's not a stalemate. Black won the game. Oh man. Wow, Jim. I have an idea. I played a game yesterday with this position. My opponent played knight takes e5. I have another new move for you too. Okay, e3, check. So is that the secret move? Bishop d2. White also obviously can play knight to c3. Why does everybody play bishop d2 there? Oh, it's a bad bishop. Okay. Yeah. It's a bad bishop. But here I'm not so sure. This is a new move. We should look from Jim's side. Sorry. I'm just so used to playing white against Jim. I want to see it from white's side. e3, bishop e4 check, bishop d2, trading pieces. And then knight takes. Yeah, I mean this knight prefers c3. And plus white queen takes, knight c3, we can castle queen side. Knight d2 is inaccurate. Knight d2 is lame. Lame. And now white doesn't have much. What's he gonna do? Queen c2 and castle queen side. Same thing. Do you put the queen on c3? Ulf Anderson might have a slight edge. Yeah, this is kind of boring. Knight takes f3. But I don't know. It's a blitz game, I assume. You can play anything here. Castles, knight c6. You know, I would take with the pawn and mess with you, you know. I'm not sure you should do that, dude. I mean, this is a dangerous file here. And you also let him, like, capture toward the center. Okay, I mean, black could try something really provocative. Maybe queen h4. Take advantage of this. This could be a problem. I bet you would, too. Morales would definitely play queen h4. I'm just saying, like, you know, ambitious player with white might try to be creative here. Knight takes is boring. And then a5. Yeah, a5 is fine. No, certainly not obligatory. Castles is way more solid. And that's a nasty move. Queen e7. Now castle and b6. And you're playing like Uncle Yermo. We have the Uncle Yermo formation with b6, bishop b7, knight a6, knight c5. It's a lock. Draw. You know, objectively, I almost like black better here. It's weird, isn't it? White has more pawns in the center. I actually almost like white better. I mean, white has control of the d5 square, but big deal. Yeah, I wouldn't play a4 though. Why not just develop your pieces with knight a6? This is like kind of pushing the envelope. And that pawn could also get weak later on. I guess you're going to go a3. This is risky though. You know, it's safer to go knight a6. Now your pawn is on its own. Oh, you wanted to do rook a5. Is this bullet or blitz? Blitz. No, he wants to do a rook lift. Because there's so many pieces left on the board to attack with. Of course, he played rook a5. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy, dude. It's funny, but there's just not enough pieces for an attack like that. I think you have a great position, you should just play knight a6 and you're at least, like, equal. This is kind of over the top. I mean, I doubt rook a5 is bad, but it's a little on the risky side. You're not going to checkmate him with rook h5, you know. This is an interesting move. Trying to provoke e4. And now I wouldn't do that with white. He gives you the A file. Hey, he doesn't give you the A file because you got that. Interesting. Okay, so white should play rook a1 now. That was very difficult to find. Yeah, your position would be great if you could play rook a8, but you can't now. Now you're like worse after rook a1. See what you got for playing a4? But he played b4, he was like greedy. Everybody's greedy. Now this is good for you. Both sides have been like too greedy. And then e4 is awful. Strategically weakening the dark squares. Hey, I want to have the worst possible Marazzi I can have. Alright, play e4. Okay, this bishop here isn't great, but I don't like this move. Okay, he was afraid of rook c2. Now, oh, you got that. You're going to sack the exchange. I mean, how does he not play this? How does white not play e5 in this position? I don't understand. I mean, it's like, if you can't see e5 in like a blitz bullet game, then what's the sense of playing chess? It's the most obvious move ever. And it will like force Jim to sack the exchange, or else like let his structure be destroyed. You almost have to sack the exchange, but you don't really want to, you know? Yeah, that was careless. Yeah, really sloppy game. Now he's blocked the diagonal. And of course... Hey, look, no back rank mate. So white is just like losing a pawn now. Good job. I think he kind of missed the moment there with the e5. It's a little late for e5. Wow. A fearful move. Your bishop is like a London system bishop. What bishop? So now can white hold on this ending down a pawn with super bishop? Interesting. These pawns are weak now. I'm not sure like bishop f3 is even a good move. Dude has c5. There he goes again. He missed another discovery with that same bishop. I mean, it's very likely that you're close to winning here, but I don't think it's so easy, man. You know, after that. Right. Uh-oh. Oh, man, the second pawn hurts. You didn't take it. What the heck was that? Like a mouse slip? Rook c3, mouse slip. And then take. That was weird. It was like a stutter step. Oh, another pawn. I don't know. I don't really want to give up the c7 pawn. I think like you need to play d5 and like here, and then bring your king around to centralize. You need to like get everyone together. Rook f4, rook c7. I'm not sure you're winning this. This is probably a draw. I'm almost certain this is a draw now. The pawns are broken. Pawn up doesn't matter. The bishop's too good. Oh, you're 2 pawns up. My bad. This sort of is a pawn. I'm not sure. No, 2 pawns up. Alright. You have a chance. You put your pawns in the wrong color, undouble them, and now, yeah, maybe you're winning. Yeah, he needs to just be 1 pawn down. Pawn takes. Say what? Pawn takes? Pawn cakes. You played pawn cakes here? Dude, that's a really bizarre... That's a really bizarre capture. Black wins on time. Nice job. Alright. Last game, Neffy. Neffy must be white. Remind me to play the Owen defense against Nefedov, somebody. Man, this move, this d5 is real iffy, you know. Overextended pawn, difficult to support. I don't like it. It's been played by some good players, but I don't like it. It's yucky. But Black played a5. That, I would say, like, almost somewhat justifies d5. So now you've got Nefedov playing d4. It's an English defense. And Nefedov's playing white. Well, you gotta give Black credit for spirit. I think Bishop d6 deserves... Well, I mean, Knight c5 is a mistake, I guess. You know, this is like a Gurgenidze on the other side. Difficult to say, though. I don't know. It's a weird position. I'm not sure. I'd rather play Black because I'm more accustomed to it, but I don't know. Black needs to act quickly here and accurately. Like, Bishop d6 doesn't look good enough. It's never too late to play g6 and turn it into a double fianchetto. This is questionable. Okay, what happens on this? I mean, I don't know, man. Is Black okay here? Wow, Queen f6 only move. Or maybe e5. It's looking interesting. d6 is interesting. Oftentimes it might be bad, but here it's definitely possible. And now Black takes. I think that's usually a mistake. Maybe not here. He could possibly put his bishop on a6. And this is definitely a mistake. The first capture maybe, but this one is definitely bad. I think now Nefedov needs to seriously consider the possibility of taking with the knight. Pawn takes, principled, but knight takes very interesting there. And now the light squares. Ooh, God. Bishop a4 check. Take. You've got knight d4 here. My God. This looks too good for white. Nefedov waited one move and then played knight d4. And this is very strong. Knight c6 here. But he went the other way. I mean, this is a huge advantage to white. But I imagine this is good as well. But you don't get the light square bishop. You know, you're sometimes getting the dark square bishop. Though these bishops look pretty good. It is funny seeing an e4 player play d4 position, which is basically what happened here. Bishop g5. But all the white's pieces, are coordinated. Sorry guys, this is a late game for me, so I've got to go soon. Nefedov settled. Black has chances to draw. He settled for too little here. He's only slightly better. And now this is definitely only a minimal advantage for white. Rook c8 and Black is fine. Huge mistake there? No, it's still a draw. If I'd have let him off the hook. And then this is a mistake. I mean, you should put your pawns on dark squares. Put your pawns on dark squares. White can't lose. F3 is weird. He did it anyway now. This is a draw. That's a strange decision by black. It's a draw, and black like wants to lose. This is like trying to lose on purpose. Maybe it's lost now, because white has an outside pass pawn. He has a total draw. There's like unlikely white can win this position, and black like wants to lose with b5. Now I introduce you to outside pass pawn, king on d4. Only white can win. Tragic. Now he has this other pawn fixed on the wrong color. Queenside pawn, 2 pawns fixed on the wrong color, plus queenside passer. Probably Nefudov was winning. And then he just loses at 5 outright. Wow. I mean, even the bishop's on a bad square. Yeah, I mean, this is insane. Black is a total draw. I'm certain of it. Well, I'm 99% certain this is a draw. The computer gives it 1.2, which is a draw, but tricky. Probably some tricks. With b5 just like losing. Bishop b3 doesn't help. Too many pawns in the white squares. That's a good move. h4 is the best. Well, I mean, engine's brute forcing, dude. It doesn't really know what's going on, but in this kind of endgame, 20 move brute force analysis should yield something. It doesn't know what's going on, but it forces its way there. If it doesn't find a win in a 20 move depth, it's probably a draw. This is a win though. He has 2 pawns on the wrong color and the outside passer. Nefudov winning easily here. But you were sloppy, man. I mean, you let the whole advantage go, basically. You lost. You had a huge advantage, and you let it completely slip to almost nothing. And then you had to come back and he let you back. So that was kind of not lucky, but fortunate, you know. Middle of the game, you totally let him almost reach an absolutely drawn position. All right, guys, I gotta go. It was a long stream, record stream, 4 hours. I'll see you guys later. Thanks, Mr. Coffee. Thanks, everybody. Back tomorrow, I hope, if I wake up. Friday. Thank you all. Thank you all. Mr. Coffee, thank you. Later, guys. Have a good one. Good night. Bye-bye.